We are on episode 30. I just realized that. Wow.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to episode 30 of C4SVillains. I am your host JB, aka the Herald of Doom, and I am here with the full council of villains. Up first, my boy who started this show with me from the beginning, Legendy Vash. Up next, Prince A. Lawal, aka the son of Darkseid, my boy Abe. And some of you may know him as the reverse of all of your favorite heroes, my boy Scuba Steve. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this episode.
Oh God, you already know what it is. It's good to be here like per usual. Hey, especially now this is our first time all four of us together officially because Steve had prior arrangements, but hey, we live, all four of us. It's lit, baby. It's lit.
It's
Yeah,
lit,
man.
definitely. I missed the show last week. I forgot why they missed the show last week at work or something. But I'm here. I'm glad that we had the full announcement that James was waiting to announce for weeks, that Steve and Abe joined the team of C4S and as co-hosts for the C4SVillains is a show that me and James have had a passion for, and we knew that we wanted more co-hosts to join the team as well. And they're just a great addition, as people saw the chemistry and the knowledge that we did during the time of we reviewed Loki, and it was just a great time. And I'm glad to be with them week to week. And also, Abe, I'm just tired of this, man, because for those that don't know, we just added like another show on the Anime Lately side too, on the Twitch side. So like, I'm just tired of Abe sometimes.
Meanwhile, Abe is like, how many teams could I start joining without like drowning? So I'm just all over the place. I'm like, hey, don't worry.
You created that.
Which is why I didn't want to just assume that you wanted to join, and I was very happy when you guys accepted. Because I know you guys are busy. You're doing your own shows. You have your own platforms. But I appreciate that you guys are joining us for this episode. But just to echo what Vash said, like it's crazy that we're 30 episodes in. Like when we started this, like this is all, for John Schnepp. Like this guy was one of the people that inspired us to make content in the first place. So I'm going to talk about Schnepp on the 50th anniversary, the 100th, the 500th, everything. It's all to John Schnepp. So shout out to him. But yeah.
And I'm gonna add also, for those that don't know, me and James will also review his movie of The Death of Superman and What Happens. We will also review that one. So I can't wait to talk about that because that's such a great movie. And we will also give a signed autograph of a poster of his, because I have a signed autograph poster and to the DVD and something else. So me and James haven't yet fully talk about that because we're gonna do that in review in the anniversary, which is next year in January something. So stay tuned for that. For those that are fans of John Schnepp and for us in the show as a whole, stay tuned for that.
Yeah. But yeah, we have a lot of stuff to talk about tonight. It's going to be a really, really good show. Up first, we're going to be announcing the giveaway winner for the Lasher #1 comic from Extreme Carnage. So Abe, I'm going to pass it to you.
Oh wait, no, it's at the end of the show.
You're going to do it at the end?
You qualify just by watching and hanging out with us. You feel me?
Okay, cool.
Yeah, at the end of the show we'll announce that.
My bad, y'all. I'm jumping the gun.
I apologize.
You good, bro? You good?
Woo!
But in theaters this week, Free Guy is finally out after being delayed by 6-7 times. It's finally out. I'm gonna go see it maybe on Sunday, hopefully sometime. Are you guys excited to see Free Guy at all?
I'm not going to go see it.
I
Not gonna see it.
wanna find time to watch on Sunday, like, cause I plan to stream on Sunday, but I do wanna actually try to watch it. But sadly, it's not on any streaming service where I could just watch it at home and just kill the buzz, just see what's up. Cause I love Ryan Reynolds as an actor and everything, and he just plays himself in a way, but in a more comedy 4-4 breaking as non-Deadpool, which is almost kind of the same. But in the reality, I want to watch and support a original IP in a way. So, but if I find the time this weekend, if not, I'll watch it next week and everything. But I do want to definitely check it out and support it.
Steve, what about you? You have any thoughts on it?
I'm definitely going to go see it just because I like Ryan Reynolds. That's mainly the reason why I'm going to go see it. I actually didn't know very much about anything other than just the little trailer that I saw. And it looked decent. Like, I'm not too upset about it. And like I said, I love Ryan Reynolds, and I'm a movie guy. I like watching movies. So I definitely am going to go see it. I'm going to definitely go see it, for sure.
Yeah. I hope it's good, because I think, like, Ryan Reynolds movies are 50-50. It's either going to be awesome or it might
really
suck.
Shitty. No in between. There's never any in between.
So
damn
I mean,
Skippy.
so I'm very excited for it. The concept looks really cool. I mean, anything with Taika in it. I mean, come on, like Taika's gonna be the bad guy. I'm all for it. Also coming out this week, Don't Breathe 2. I thought Don't Breathe, the first one, was really good. Now I'm really excited to see the second one.
Oh, the first one.
Man,
Hey,
it ain't draw me in.
As a
Watch
non-horror fan, as
Watch
I
it.
am, Don't Breathe. It got me the chills. Great.
That's not a
score.
recommendation. That's
No. But I do recommend it. Like, as a guy that's a non-horror fan, I actually enjoy the hell of that film, and the way with the tension of the character of like him, like with the camera panning and him not being able to see and everything, really done well. Like, I really give the props for that film. I'm not sure if I'm gonna watch Don't Breathe 2 though. That's the different thing. I don't know, because this one actually looks a lot more violent and creepy from what the trailer shows.
It definitely subverts your expectations. So I would definitely recommend checking it out.
The premise never interested me. The premise just seemed like
It subverts your expectations, though. Check it out.
Okay.
I saw some reviews that said this is one of the few movies that the part 2 is better than the first one. So that's
Quiet
kind
Place 2. I also think A Quiet Place 2 is way better than the first one.
Oh, really?
What do you think of The Conjuring 2? Is that better than the first one?
The Conjuring 2 it gets hurt because of the poor movie that was The Nun. That's what hurts number 2 for me. It's like, had you not seen The Nun, number 2 easily better than number 1.
Yeah, because
but then when you remember how if you watch The Nun and you keep that in mind while you're rewatching number 2, you're just like, damn.
Yeah, because Valak was one of my favorite demons, like, period, like, in horror movies. So Valak was a nice surprise to have in the Conjuring universe. And then, like Abe said, you watch The Nun and it's like, nah, this fucking sucks, bro. So it's like, it's hard for me to go back to watch The Conjuring 2 and look at Valak and it's like, you're not scary, bro. Like, I don't care anymore.
It's so tough, yo. It's so tough. But I would agree. Conjuring 2, like, if you try to take away The Nun and its auxiliaries, yes, Conjuring 2 was better than Conjuring 1. And for me, Conjuring 3 was better than Conjuring 2. Which means that Conjuring 3 was also better than Conjuring 1. I just really love, we finally got high stakes. We had consequence. We had loss. Like, they weren't hiding that. And it just, because with number 2, not keeping in mind that at the time number 3 wasn't out, when you watch it, you're like, yo, this might actually be the end. Like, it played up as if it would be the end. And I was like, yo, don't do this to me. Don't give me a third one at least. And then in the third one, I was like, this feels like a good landing point. If this was to be it, if the franchise was to be over in terms of no Conjuring movies, but you continue with the auxiliary stuff, I'd be completely satisfied.
So here's my thing. I don't want any more movies, but I want
Books,
a limited series.
Oh,
a limited series that explores some of their other cases, right? So much like the Conjuring comic right now, there's little bits in the comics that kind of explore some of their other cases, kind of. but like I wish there was a TV series that just legit was just like 5 episodes. That's just shit. What's his name? He puts when you put the coins on your eyes to pay the ferryman.
Oh, the ferryman.
Oh
yeah.
I would love a limited series on the ferryman because
the
Conjuring comic has the ferryman in the comic and he's terrifying, bro. He's only in a couple panels, but he's absolutely terrifying. And I would love to see an entire series just on him. And then you could do more comics, more books. But as far as movies, I think a trilogy is a good way to stop, especially after The Devil Made Me Do It.
So, the Conjuring comics, they've been going on for a while?
Nah, recently. The first time I ever mentioned them was when the issue 1 dropped. So it was like a month or so ago.
It's monthly.
Like, yeah. So, it's only been 3 months because there's 3 issues out right now.
Yeah, it's good, man. It's good.
Have
you seen The Devil Made Me Do It?
I don't watch horror, but I'll read it. I think I'll read it.
Same here, me too. I probably might read it. So
yeah, that's why I was asking. I was like, how many is it?
So the comic is a prequel to The Devil Made Me Do It.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's pretty dope the way that they interconnect the stories.
In question, are we going to talk about the Venom movie delay as well? Because I didn't see in the show notes.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Yeah, so Venom got delayed to October 15th.
Dog, you already know my comment.
I thought it was October 22nd.
No, October 15th. It's a terrible move. You are not going to compete with Halloween Kills and with a Ridley Scott movie.
It's contrast,
going to compete.
though.
Correct.
It's contrast.
James said it. Yep.
But
you're funny.
It's not going to do what it
because
thinks
Abe.
It's going to do.
Because look, Abe. You're getting James. He will be watching both films that weekend. One day, a different film, another day different.
I understand that. Not everybody's going to do that, though.
Correct.
People are not going to do that, though.
But like me, some people will choose which film to go to. I'll be choosing Venom. Abe will probably be choosing first Halloween Kills. So like they know who to hit the audience. They chose that because it's called counter. What's the word, James, for it? I forgot what do people call it in the industry.
I can't think of the exact term, but I mean the point is it's the contrast, right? Because think about it, like I think when either Infinity War or when Endgame came out, Pixar was releasing one of their big movies while that was coming out because it doesn't matter, it's contrast, right? Like all of the kids, they're still going to see that movie and it still made $1 billion. It's all contrast.
I just know Halloween Kills is going to win the box office for at least 2 weeks straight.
Over Venom?
No.
It will not, bro.
Just saying,
Abe, win the box office. It'll be number 2, and it'll be close, but it will not beat Venom. It will.
I hope you know, Venom, the first one, over the time, it made $800 million.
That's over time. I'm talking about opening weekend.
I know.
Opening weekend, Venom is going to destroy Halloween Kills, bro.
It will.
First of all, it's PG-13. It's PG-13. So PG-13 compared to R, you're literally like you're separating adults from teenagers, right? Because they can't go see our movies, so more of them are able to go see Venom.
Yeah,
it's that, and it's a comic book movie. The first one was successful. You have Carnage. Tom Hardy's back. It's definitely going to be number 1, at least for the first 3 weeks.
Open weekend.
I'm trusting the shape.
Venom made 80 million, and this was also in the fall when they made the money. And guess when it came out?
But
it came out on October 5th.
Pre-pandemic.
Pre-pandemic.
Oh yeah. Look, so I would say opening weekend it'll make like 40.
25.
I think it'll make like 40. Halloween Kills will make like 20, 25.
25. Okay.
I'm telling you, bro. I studied the box office for years. Trust
Same here.
Halloween Kills will not win any of those weekends. I'm telling you. At least until like the 4th or 5th weekend. Nah.
Then it looks like what I gotta do is start threatening people to go see Halloween Kills. All right.
Because trust me, I'm going to go see Halloween Kills first, and then I'll see Venom. Let There Be Carnage.
I actually have no idea what Ridley Scott's movie is about. I didn't know he was dropping the movie until it was like, so the last dude comes out October 15th. I'm like, the hell is that? Well, it's Ridley Scott.
It looks interesting.
Someone don't see it. Like,
it's the first time Ben and Matt Damon have been on screen in a long time.
Oh, he got. That makes me not. I feel some type of way about Matt Damon nowadays. But
what?
Yeah, it's just he's ignorant. But it's also a Ridley Scott movie. Ridley Scott is responsible for Aliens.
Adam
so,
Driver's
like,
in this too.
Damn. All right. Well, that just got. I'm definitely gonna peep that. That's literally going to be the second movie I see, and I still won't see Let There Be Carnage, even though I'm excited. But I'm a wait because
now it's just
well, you do have to watch it because we might review it the following week.
I mean,
Friday,
we will.
So.
Then I just missed that episode. I don't like that.
Look
at so
off principle, he won't watch it because he don't want them to get that sale over.
So it seems like we might have a guest that week, James. It will just be me and Steve.
I guess
just
so.
I'm not going to see that movie. Like it's not a priority. For
like
me
a true villain, just abandoning us.
Yeah, like the son of Darkseid. What do you expect? I mean, like at this point, is anything I'm doing a surprise? But
okay.
let's continue on with the show.
Yeah, man. Let's get it. So let's go ahead. Let's talk about the first episode of What If. This episode was written by A.C. Bradley, directed by Brian Andrews, and I thought this was a really, really strong first episode for What If. Haley Atwell came back as the voice of Captain Carter. Josh Keaton was the voice of Steve Rogers. Jeremy Renner came back to be Hawkeye. Stanley Tucci came back to be Dr. Erskine. Rose Marquand, I believe is his name, was the voice of Red Skull. Sebastian Stan was Bucky. Toby Jones came back to be Zola. And Samuel L. Jackson came back to be Nick Fury. So it was great to see all of these actors come back to do these voices. I was like, was Chris Evans busy? Like, what was he doing?
So that was my question, because when I heard Steve, I'm like, that don't sound like Chris though. So I was questioning, like, did he choose not to come back, or was he busy doing other stuff, or is he doing a secret project, or is it because Steve younger self or skinny version doesn't sound like
he did the skinny voice in the movie, so why not?
Yeah, me too. So I'm like, that was just pretty sure.
I think it's just a matter of like you can't get everybody back.
Yeah, get it back, time schedule or something.
I accepted that because it was surprising how much they did bring back to play their characters. That was pretty.
Oh
impressive.
yeah,
The reason why I'm curious is because Dave Bautista came out and said that they didn't even ask him to voice Drax for that What If episode. So they just went ahead and chose someone else. So it's like, did they just choose to do that for Steve because it's only going to be.
So Disney don't feel like paying people? Oh,
exactly.
Wow, surprise.
That's what I was gonna bring up. Maybe they'd rather pay the voice actors, which is cheaper, than actually pay for the actual actors because they just have to voice. So that's my guess. But I was gonna say a quick side thing. I enjoyed the What If episode, but I also enjoyed the day of, because the other social media outlets of said companies just using the hashtag of What If and just kept saying, like, what if this happened, like aka Doom Patrol, Titans, DC? HBO Max. I was laughing. DC was mostly the ones doing this, and I'm like, yeah, out of pocket, but this is just great marketing. And I wonder if Marvel and DC had a conversation about that, or they just using the hashtags just for the fun of it.
The only one that did it that was funny was Harley Quinn. It was like, what if Batman, and it implied the whole eating cat situation. Yeah, it's like, Harley Quinn, you know what? Harley Quinn.
You get a pass.
You know what you're doing.
I saw Doom
Patrol, and I was like, shut the hell up. Shut
the hell up.
Don't talk. Because someone responded, how about DC gives us an Emmy-nominated show, and they dropped a pic of WandaVision. I was like, there we go.
But I'm like, they do have one, Doom Patrol and Watchmen.
Look, are they in the same universe? No, DC should not be talking about any possible what ifs when they need to get their what if situation handled themselves. So like, I was just like, hey,
their issues could be fixed so easily.
Yo,
everything's a part of the multiverse. Accept it. Boom. It's all fixed. It's literally all fixed.
That participator felt like they was mocking me as a fan. I felt mocked. I was like, oh, word. You think this is games? You think I'm okay? I shall deal with you later. Don't worry.
Yeah, but getting into the What If episode, I just want to start with like general thoughts. Like, what were your general thoughts of the first episode? Like, what did you think of the pacing? Because for me personally, it felt like it was really, really quick. Like, I know this is just like the what if scenario of the events of the first Avenger, so it is what it is. But for me, the pacing felt a little rushed. Maybe if the episode was like 42 minutes, maybe it wouldn't have felt so rushed for me personally. So I want to know just like your general thoughts on the episode. What do you think of the animation, the pacing, the change of the score for Captain Carter, stuff like that?
I do want to say I agree with Breeze. With Bucky, he felt more comedic than I remember when he was in the original Captain America with the first Avenger.
Yeah.
Because I remember him being more caring about Steve, but not being as funny. So that kind of shocked me a bit. But the pacing I like because we know the first Avenger, so like the story. So I love how I gotta give props to the animation and the camera and the sets because they kept almost the same scenes, just change it up a bit. Where some scenes of what Steve did in the movie, Captain Carter did coming out with the gun pistol and everything, and have the Howling Commandos behind her. So I love how they kept some scenes the same, just changing Captain Carter, but they added new scenes with her jumping out of England. I assume that was England, right? Was that England? I totally forgot. Or
I mean, I'm pretty sure they were in Germany.
Oh yeah,
I'm
Germany
not
probably.
mistaken.
Yeah, probably Germany. I totally forgot. That's why I said that was probably England, Germany. But I love how her having fun with her powers because we first found out with Steve, he was just doing the whole dancing and everything, and he didn't really use it. He just knew how to train with it, but he never had the chance to actually go around with it. But for Captain Carter, her to actually have fun with it and just throwing guys around like it's nothing. And then I love how, this was in the 1920s and plus in the 1930s and everything, and how women are not supposed to be in the room
40s.
at the time. Oh, yes, of the 40s. And I love how they play it to note of how women are not supposed to be in the room and everything. And with a general, he's like, "Oh, you can't be here. You're lucky here in the room." And then once she actually does some actual work and actually show what's up, he's like, "Oh yeah, this was my idea and everything." I'm like, "Of course, you son of a bitch, do this." So I love the story pacing. That is definitely humans and everything. But I love how with the pacing and animation, it felt like Clone Wars type of animation, just more brighter for me as well, which was like very bright sometimes. So that was very different. And I didn't expect the whole ending twist with the challenger or technically the champion. I didn't expect that from the Red Skull and everything. I thought we were gonna go like in a different route, but I like how it came out overall. Like overall episode thoughts, I had a great time. Pacing wise and everything, animation wise, in my money, I like Clone Wars, but a bit more brighter and everything. So I didn't expect with the Bucky stuff, like I said, because I do agree with Breeze and everything. But overall, I had a great time. And seeing Steve being more of the wingman for Carter and seeing the Ironmonger coming actually from a boy Stark, that was pretty dope.
Yeah, the Hydra Stomper. I thought that was really cool.
The Hydra Stomper. Yeah, I thought it was real fun. I really enjoyed it. I didn't mind the pacing at all because, like Vash said, we've seen the movie, right. So we know. So it's really just the details and the differences of things that happen along the way on the what if part, and you pretty much get to see the little small differences that Peggy makes instead of what Steve would have did. So it's pretty much like little things, and what pretty much triggers the whole moment. You know what I'm saying? We get to see that and everything like that. I definitely like I said, I love the animation. I thought that fighter jet scene was really, really dope. I thought it was done really, really well. And that's probably one of my favorites. That was my favorite scene of the whole episode.
Same.
So yeah, I definitely enjoyed this shit. I thought this was dope and I can't wait because I just know that we're gonna see Peggy Carter again later on. And I don't think these are just going to be, each episode is going to be their own thing. I think they're going to tie these characters together. So I'm excited to see how they're going to do that.
Oh, I thought to add one more thing. My favorite thing of what Steve brought up, my favorite thing out of the whole episode, as much as I love to see Captain Carter and everything else, was the voice of our boy Jeffrey Wright. The way he spoke on the narrative of the what if, and knowing that this happens after Loki and everything, and the way he talks about only a fraction could change and add a whole new timeline. I love that perspective and actually giving us a different viewpoint of the whole MCU and what the whole timeline and plus multiverse works. I love that very much. And the way he knocked out that voice, it fits so natural with it. And the way the animation pop up with the little diamonds and everything showing each type of broken multiverse, that was my favorite out of the whole episode.
Yeah. Abe?
Yeah. For me, I enjoyed thoroughly what they did here. I love the focus on Peggy and Steve. Like we always knew was there, and now we actually get to see like this one decision of Peggy basically being like, "Nah, f all that. I belong with the big boys too. What's up?" And the whole journey of her becoming Captain Carter. I love it may not be a reference to Captain Britain, but when she had the sword, for those familiar with Captain Britain, you have to choose between a sword and a shield. And if you chose the sword of might, you usually were like, yeah, nah, you clearly want to be violent. We're about peace loving. So I just thought it was fun that she had it. And the dialogue, just her showing out against the men, I was like, yeah, she whooping all y'all asses. All of it. Especially when she first tested it out with the whole suit and shield, and she went against the card, and the guy got out. He was like, "All right, this is gonna be easy." And then she broke his leg, punched him in the balls, and knocked him out. I was like, "Ooh, baby, he needs some milk. That boy needs some milk." It was dope. It was dope. I love the attention on Peggy and Steve because they added the right emotion. Having Bucky being like just a tertiary character worked well for me. Seeing a whole squad, especially since his one-liners. Howard Stark was hilarious. He's like, "Oh, am I interrupting? Oh, there's Superintendent. I'm not even here." And he's just like, my man, get him out the window.
I push the buttons. That's all I do.
Window, my G. You all up in
I build the shit and I push the buttons.
All right. So it was just really good. I will say that when I saw her go to the portal, I was like, "Yo, is this how they gonna explain her pulling up in the main MC universe?" Like, she just came to the portal, drifted, and all of a sudden I was about to get excited, but then she came back. I was like, "Oh yeah, no, you have to bring it back. You still have to. This is still the first Avenger story of this universe, so she has to come back." And I was like, "All right, I'm excited. And it's funny too because we know next week is going to be the Chadwick Boseman episode, which is, again, Disney knew what they were doing because the anniversary of his death is in 2 weeks. So it's just like, hey, next week's definitely going to be an emotional time for fans all around. But I'm looking forward to it because it looked like T'Challa as Star-Lord was going to be dope. Peggy Carter as Captain Carter was so dope. I'm really excited for this series for real.
Yeah, man. I thought this was a great first episode. I love that Haley Atwell got to come back to voice Peggy Carter. This is her character. So I thought it was very respectful of Disney to do that. Love the animation. It sets it apart from anything else that you've seen that puts it in its own universe, and I really, really like that. I love how they portrayed Captain Carter. They were definitely they showed you exactly what it was like for her in that time, for a woman to try to be strong, to try to stand up amongst the men, if you will. And I appreciated how they handled it. They showed you how it happened in that time, but she rose above it. Everyone else accepted her because she did the job. She did the thing that she was supposed to do, which was to fight with all of her bravery, and she brought soldiers back. I really, really love that, because a lot of other things, like Supergirl, tend to, in the beginning anyway, tend to take the route of women are strong and men are terrible, instead of just making women strong and just giving us strong female characters. That's what I want to see. That's why I really, really appreciate Batwoman and why I enjoyed the first season, because the first season definitely showed you the hardships of trying to be in the military as someone who is a lesbian or bisexual, but not overdoing it and trying to be like, oh, men are terrible. No, this is a reality of life, and these are things that we shouldn't shy away from. But the things that are actually important is how the women rise above these adversities. So I love what they did with Captain Carter in this, and she kicked so much fucking ass in this episode. Like,
yes.
Yes, she
Bless
did.
you.
Yes, she did.
Like Steve was saying, when she was fighting against the fighter jets, and then she takes out the last one, she flips back, and then she's just free falling, and then just grabs on to the Hydra Stomper. I was losing my fucking mind, bro. Like I rewound it like 5 times just so I could relive that moment over and over again. It was so much fun.
So far. And it was, I love that it was one camera scene. There was no cuts. It was just like straight through. Like I love that scene. Was brilliant. I loved it.
Yeah. So let's go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Transition.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's get into some of the deeper parts of the episode, because I do want to talk about some of the major parallels between this and Captain America, the First Avenger. So with Jeffrey Wright's voiceover, we learn that Peggy, the smallest thing, just Peggy deciding to stay in the room instead of going up to where she sat in the First Avenger, creates an entirely new branch reality, which is why I love like multiverse theory. The fact that one decision could change everything and create an entirely new universe.
I was waiting for the watcher to say this is a Nexus event. I was like, this is a Nexus event. Please say that. He did it. I was like, oh.
That one decision. And to see Erskine just get blown up in that like first initial explosion, and to see the reason why she got into the machine is simply because it was running low on power, and if they didn't do something right in that moment, they would have lost it forever. Mm-hmm. So she had to do it. And,
so it was implied, but I just wanna confirm. Steve technically got shot in the legs, and that's why he was trying to heal to get back on his foot because he couldn't walk. Right? Okay, cool. Because they shot him, but they didn't really show any actual direction. They just implied it, but from camera it showed like that's what we know. But because I spoke to somebody at work and they said, oh, he didn't get shot in the legs, he got shot around the ribs and everything. I'm like, but then why was he crunching and working with Peggy then? He goes like they were implying that. So I just want to confirm with you guys that I saw the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so the description of the episode is very vague, of course, on purpose, because it says after Steve gets into an accident or he gets hurt, Peggy has to go into the machine. And I love the transformation. I love how she looks when she comes out. Like, it's very reminiscent of how Steve came out of the machine. And I love that opening sequence. Like, let's just get into when she's actually having fun with her powers. Like, the new Colonel doesn't want to approve the mission with her and Howard going after Zola and to go after the Tesseract. And she just decides to do it herself, and she just fucking kicks ass, bro. I love that first sequence. Like Abe was saying earlier, just watching her experiment with her new abilities, just watching her having so much fun. She stops the truck, flips it, and is just amazed by her strength. Twice. Just amazed by her strength.
And actually the second one, she bull rushed. She was like, I'm coming to you. Yeah. Not you come to me, I come to you. It was like, oh, Lord.
So what did you guys think about that fight sequence?
It was
Girl said, I'm going to do this one more time, because she said she's having a blast actually working out her skills and power while trying to learn it. And for her to actually do this while training herself and actually see of how great this serum is. And what Abe mentioned, when the dude said, they let a girl come here and do the job. I'm like, all right, guy, you better get your ass kicked in 3.5 seconds, and it happened.
And I love that parallel to Winter Soldier, with Cap versus Batroc. Such a great parallel.
Oh,
go ahead, Vash.
You're right. That makes total sense. But also just to see her jump and just to see the outfit that she represents. Yeah, like she works for America, but she still loves the country of England because she represents the flag. And I love how the shield looks with the flag of British, but she still fights for America. And I just love that. Like, that just shows a lot of love. And to show Stark knowing that of how much he supports her, and he doesn't care that she's a girl. He just wants her to do well, and that's it.
Because he's seen the things that she can do. Like, she is beyond capable. Even if she didn't have the super soldier serum, we saw her in the first Avenger. She was already beyond capable, and the serum just made her more. And I loved it. One thing I will say, I did not feel any of the dread of Red Skull. Again, I understand that this is just like us reliving these events from a different perspective. but you should still give me Red Skull. I should still feel like there is a rivalry between this current great evil and the current great good, which is Captain Carter. Much like what Vash was saying and Breezy was saying about Bucky, the character just felt a little too different for me. It was a little too much of a departure. He was too much of like a gimmicky one-note villain. He didn't really bring the dread, the despair that the Red Skull brought in the first Avenger. But I guess, you know, it is what it is.
But even with the Bucky one, I felt like that was fine because the focus was Peggy and Steve. It's hard to have the focus be on Peggy and Steve if you're going to try to give Bucky as much screen time as he did.
But as Steve's best friend, I just don't feel like his reaction to the explosion was that big. You know?
No, it wasn't. It lacked emotion. I'm all around for me, even from Peggy. I didn't feel too bad.
At the end, like I didn't feel like she was that sad that she
just
missed 70 years with Steve. You know,
she's a soldier. You know,
that has something to do kind of with the pacing. That, you know what I'm saying, I guess with the pacing you can't show as much emotion, especially because it was what, a 30-minute episode rather than a whole hour.
That's what I was saying, like 42, just a little bit more, just to give us a little something. But
it would have gave us that little bit of emotion that we could have got.
But I think what Abel said is true, because she's a soldier. So Steve, when he came back from the ice, he said, "Oh, I left a date." Because he's not really a soldier first.
Yeah, but
he
you could see the emotion on his face, though. You could see the sadness.
But thing is, but for Peggy, she's a soldier. Yeah, girl was happy when she heard from Nick, like, "Oh, we won the war." She's like, "Oh, I won the war." But her face did seem like, "Oh," but she also lost the guy that she wasn't date. Girl didn't say it, but she did show a bit of emotion. It's just that we didn't get more of that. So, like, we wanted more of what we got from Steve. But we forget that Peggy was first a soldier before Peggy was falling in love with Steve. So, like, that's why I felt like it worked for her character, because we know her as a soldier first, and then girl was slowly falling in love with Steve later. So that's why I let that pass. But I do agree with the pacing still.
Yeah. I also loved like we and Steve and I briefly talked about it, but there was an entire montage of Steve and Peggy partnering to go after all of the Hydra agents, much like in the first Avenger where we got that montage sequence. So can you guys like remember maybe like one or two like your favorite moments? Like Steve, obviously, like outside of the one that we mentioned.
I actually enjoy when I guess the Hydra Stomper, when he flips over the tank and he kind of like melts it down. I thought that was pretty cool too. And it gives you that, because yes, this is Captain Carter, but is this our first variation of Iron Man as well? Like,
I guess,
because,
right?
You know what I'm saying? So
early iteration, yeah.
So I'm wondering, is this mean, because we also saw in the trailer that we saw Michael B. Jordan rescues Tony Stark. So I'm wondering, are we not going to get Iron Man at all? Like,
well, that's a different universe. So it's possible in this universe
that's
that
a different reality.
Iron Man.
Oh, it's gonna be they're all gonna be different universes.
Yeah, all of them is different.
Oh, okay.
This is us finally going into the aftermath of Loki. That's what so meaningful now.
Yeah, so each one is a branch. Yeah, each one is a branch from what we saw from the Loki. For anybody that have not seen Loki, spoilers for those that have not seen it.
Yeah, I thought this was the one branch.
No,
and it was all gonna be combined. Okay.
This is all the small branches from that one loop of timeline.
That would make sense though. That one thing that Peggy changed in the 40s spiraled into a bunch of other changes. So it would make perfect sense either way.
Yeah, what if really dropped the ball by not having the watcher say this is the Nexus event? I really think that because if he said this one decision right here, babe, and just like that, a Nexus event.
So it's like that.
I think it would have helped people out. It would have helped.
What happened with T'Challa? Like, what happened with T'Chaka that he ended up with the Ravagers? Like, what happened? Like,
that's I'm excited to see that.
Yo, because clearly he had to have been kidnapped, but that means the Ravagers came to Earth and had access to Wakanda. So there's a lot going on there. There's going to be a lot going on. It's going to be exciting for sure. Again, it's going to be an emotional one, because this is basically, after this is done, there's no more projects, no more new projects with Chadwick Boseman's voice. or really likeness.
Yeah.
And it's just like, jeez, you know.
Yeah. I know, like even with like this episode or whatever, when she refuses to go upstairs or whatever, it changed so much just because everybody didn't go upstairs. They all were on the main floor.
Yeah.
So that changed everything. And then like, you know what I'm saying, the bomb goes off instead of him getting shot. All sorts of crazy stuff just started spiraling out of control. It was very, I love the way that they did that. And it was just like, just because she said, no, I'm not going upstairs, everybody stayed downstairs, which means the Hydra agent stayed downstairs. It was dope.
Yeah, no lie, I was going to it made me want to go and restart my journey into the MCU, and I was like, I low-key kind of want to watch the first Captain America again. And that's one of the movies that I enjoyed the least, especially from the trilogy. But I was like, man, you know what? I'm itching to rewatch it. I can't believe it. But then while I was doing that, because Disney Plus does a good job of organizing it by phases and also chronological order. Did you see the chronological order of the shows?
Yeah.
It was What If, Loki, WandaVision, then Falcon and Winter Soldier. And I was like, huh. I low-key kind of expected Loki and WandaVision to be the tail end of the timeline currently, not to be the beginning of in terms of the Marvel shows.
Because, I mean, after Endgame, isn't WandaVision just like a little over 2 weeks from that?
Yeah, but
I think it's a month or two.
But apparently, What If and Loki is before that. So it goes Endgame. What if you look at how Disney Plus organized it, saying chronologically?
Yeah.
The last two shows are WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier, rather than Loki and What If.
That's so weird, because we know Loki and WandaVision take place at the same time at one point, and when the reality breaks, that's when the branch timelines, the branch realities happen. But I mean, technically they already existed, but the branches are connecting the universes together. That's what I meant to say.
Because Falcon and Winter Soldier was like several months. It was like 3-4 months, right?
It was that much after Endgame?
Or was it?
Yeah, you might be right. I think it is like 3 months. I'm not sure. I'm honestly not sure of the timeline.
Yeah, so that's why I'm just like, I'm not sure, but
I'm not gonna
go by
like
Disney Plus. I guess I'm gonna go by Disney Plus and what they say because they know better than me.
But I mean, of course, if that's what they have, it just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah,
it would make sense if it's after Loki, because that's when everything starts connecting. But
we'll see what happens. But it was a great episode. Definitely looking forward to next week. And as a result, it's just going to make me more excited for the future stories that we're going to get. Such, for example, like you mentioned, Steve, the Killmonger, Tony Stark episode. That one's going to be.
And Killmonger is going to be the king of Wakanda, bro. Like.
Yeah, that's just going to be completely wild. And then, I mean, that's just 3 episodes. How many episodes are we getting total?
With the Killmonger?
No, it's 9 episodes.
9 episodes. So that's just 3 episodes we know about for sure. Then, the possible other stories we can get.
Is a zombies episode?
We're gonna get the zombies episode. That's gonna be
wild. Episode 3 should be Loki invasion, whatever that means.
Oh, okay.
Episode 4 is gonna be the Doctor Strange one. That's gonna be dope. Thor is gonna be 5. Killmonger and Tony is gonna be 6. Zombies is gonna be 7. And Tony Stark in Sakaar is gonna be episode 8. And Ultron, Vision, and the Guardians of the Multiverse is going to be episode 9. So that'll be interesting.
Ultron, Vision,
Vision. Okay.
Yeah, because remember we saw a clip of Vision wearing an Ultron like suit, bro. So that's going to be very interesting to see how that happens. How Gamora ends up in Thanos's armor. Like the new Guardians is gonna all be really, really interesting.
Is James Spader coming back to voice?
I don't know. I have no idea.
If he did, I'm like, yes, they're gonna correct a great wrong.
Me too. That's why I asked. That's exactly why I asked. If James Spader is coming back just to voice him and make a better version of Ultron, I am all for it. James Spader voice acting and his character.
I don't see it on his IMDb, so I guess not.
Damn. They probably did not want to pay another guy then. Jeez.
So, last question on What If before we move on. What did you guys think? Last two things actually. What did you guys think of Howard using the Tesseract to power the suit? Like that suit had to be like ridiculously powerful.
Yeah.
So would that be how he technically learned how to make the arc reactor? Would that be how in this universe he learned how to make the arc reactor?
I guess in this universe, yeah. Because I mean, in the MCU, he needed Ivan Vanko to help him with the technology. So I guess with this, with everything that he learned from the Tesseract, that's how he was able to make it. That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's just that he lucked upon a new energy source because we saw what Steve was able to do at the end. It could get normally powered up. It just had a basic battery life. But hey, Tesseract, I've heard about it. Let's try it. Boom.
Yeah, but see, the Tesseract wasn't common. It wasn't common knowledge with the Infinity Stone in it and everything, right?
Only if you had to know stories. So it made sense that they would introduce it during this time because you're dealing with the occult section of the Third Reich. It would make sense for you to be like, hey, we've heard about this, we've done research, especially since they made it seem like, look, while Howard Stark is definitely a science guy, he's a very like open-minded, progressive thinker. So like while he saw the portal, it didn't throw him off too much. Like he's like, oh my goodness, I'm struggling to compute how this is possible. It's like, no, this makes sense, you know? Like let's open up a hole in time in this giant space creature. Like, why not? So I liked it. I really liked the iteration of Howard Stark. Howard Stark is fun.
Yeah. That's what Stark is fun. Hey, that's what's about bringing, because my guy was laughing when he said like, I can't read German because I was with a girl once, but
yeah, he's like, that's
but girl didn't teach me German.
Like,
I was just talking about other stuff. So like, and the Peg was like, Howard, I didn't ask all that. Can you just fix the buttons? And like, I'm trying. I just love that comment. Like, Howard was really great in this episode. Hopefully, we get more of Howard throughout the next 9, at least a couple more times overall. But I really like Howard this episode. It sucks that we got Howard in Agent Carter in the TV show, only 2 seasons, but it was short-lived. But to see him a bit more in a different version and a more comedy side and just carefree, it's just, I had a great time seeing that character. And what Abe brought up as well, when my boy was just watching the 2 lovebirds just about a kiss, he's just like, no, just go on. I'm gonna just watch. Like, if you want, I could take notes. I could help you. I could buy you a drink. Like, just to see that vibe, and just him being so supportive, but just also being like a playboy too. It's just so much fun.
Yeah, he was definitely on that. Don't mind me. I'm just here. And then he started calling people, hey.
He's hilarious.
Yeah, man. Like, I don't need them to like have individual series for like where these characters go, but I would like individual comic runs. Like, I would love like a 8-issue run of Captain Carter in 2011, 2012. When she sees Nick Fury and Hawkeye. I would love to see what she does as Captain Carter with the Avengers. I would love to see what that future looks like. So yeah, like 8 issues, I would love that if that happened. I would love 8 issues of T'Challa Star-Lord and getting to see his adventures in space and with the Guardians and stuff like that. What does the Guardians look like with T'Challa at the head as Star-Lord? Like, I would love like a comic run on that. What do you guys think?
Yeah, it would be man, yes, I need that because, like, again, just the previews made it seem like T'Challa is just gonna have that suaveness, you know. And when it comes to Star-Lord, he's not gonna be awkward like Peter Quill. He's just gonna be so suave with it. Like, hey, this like it's like James Bond in space, basically. That's the vibe I get. So, like an 8-issue run of that. That's gonna be sexy, yo. Oh, can you imagine the covers too? Oh my gosh.
Oh man, those covers gonna be beautiful.
You definitely gonna have a heist one where it's like they go to a crash at an international, like a intergalactic casino. You gonna see them suited up. Oh yes,
that would be a missed opportunity if they didn't do something like that.
Oh, yo, I want compensation for C4SVillains if you guys do decide to do that because we just mentioned.
I know, right?
I definitely agree. I want to see what. Like, I'm definitely gonna want to know what happens next. That's always gonna be the thing. So I'm wondering if we're gonna get a season 2 of What If, or what's gonna happen. Because I'm definitely gonna want to know, especially once. Because the storyline that intrigued me the most was Killmonger rescuing Tony Stark. I want a whole like you said, 8-issue run. I want to see that. I want to know exactly what's going to happen with that, how that's going to change things. Um, it might change where Killmonger's obviously not going to be villain or rogue, maybe. I don't know, but I'm excited to see how that would work, because then he partner up with Iron Man, and then you have all these other crazy stuff that might go down. I'm definitely wondering what that's going to be like. So that's the storyline that intrigues me the most.
Yeah,
On this whole whatever run. I can't wait till that episode.
But then to play with the devil's advocate here, don't you think people complain saying that Marvel's trying to be like Star Wars, trying to have comic runs, trying to add more story, and then people have to read the comics for that?
No, it already exists. I mean, like some of these episodes are based off of comic runs they already did. You know, they're just bringing it to you. So if anything, just like, hey, this interests you? Well, some of them are already comic runs. Don't read. Like,
and I mean, interconnecting comics into your stories isn't anything new. I mean, there's comics for John Wick that connect to the movies. Like, it's not a new thing. So I think it'll be fine. I think that's what they should do. Steve, to answer your question, like, I think it would be great for them to have a season 2 after Multiverse of Madness, like somewhere after that, to further explore like the damaged multiverse, unless it's put back together like after that movie. But I would love for a season 2.
Or that's when season 2 can probably give you like part 2 of some of the episodes from season 1, which I think would be kind of fun. It's like, all right, so the first episode is going to be a continuation of Peggy Carter's Captain Carter. That'd be kind of, it'd be playing a long game, because then it's like, all right, how many seasons you plan to drop? Is it something that's going to drop like maybe twice a year, since there's only going to be so many episodes, or are you going to just do it once every year? I mean, I think it'd be fun if you made it every episode, every season following, just continue one of the storylines. That way it's just like, oh man, let's just watch them all, binge watch them all together. And it just brings a nostalgia factor, but at the same time, they have so many different stories they can tell. So the sky's the limit for them.
Yeah, I just can't wait for the Doom What If whenever they introduce that character into the MCU. Please.
Of course.
Yo, that's when you show Infamous Iron Man.
Yes.
Oh,
like,
that's when you show Infamous Iron
talking
Man.
About it. If I could get Extremis, the actual true Extremis Iron Man. The actual Extremis. Oh, Superior Iron Man? Oh my god.
Dude. Like, dude. A what if of Superior Iron Man? Steve, have you read Superior Iron Man?
No.
Oh, you should.
All right,
one of the best Iron Man runs.
I'm giving you a job. It's 9 issues. I want you to read it and review it for the website.
Bet.
You will love, because Tony Stark is already like super arrogant, super cocky, and this Superior Iron Man is even more arrogant, more cocky, because his mind is twisted by the symbiote armor that he's created. Yeah, so his suit is a symbiote. So the symbiote is changing who Tony is, or like
he kind of feels like he became a god.
Yes, he definitely has a god complex. Yeah,
this is the second.
Dope. I don't want to give anything away.
The second one that I've been recommended this week about the symbiote, because I was talking to Alpha earlier this week, and he was talking about King in Black.
Yes,
like,
bro.
That's a good one too.
So now this is the second symbiote. Okay, I'm gonna have to go in and dive into that.
And plus, Steve, if you do want to do a one-off video on the channel, you make a review, because it gives me another chance to read that comic. Is so good.
That'd be dope.
I love Iron Man, and if you want to review that comic, just you and me, I will do it, because that run is one of my favorites of Iron Man. And if you want to also review Extremis Iron Man, where he gets it, my boy, like, he controls technology, but the way he controls it, and he's a cocky motherfucker when he controls technology. You're like, oh, let me just grab my armor, it just comes very quick and just shoot you. I'm like, okay, but snarky, but so good, man.
Yeah, man.
So
like, he pretty much.
So Extremis Iron Man. What's the difference with that one? Because I know Superior is, like you said, it's the symbiote. So what's the Extremis?
Extremis, think of it as like a virus, like where he connects with the technology around him, and he has like an AI inside his brain. That's how he can connect to the virus.
It's nanotech, but not nanotech.
Yeah, they tried to tease it in Iron Man 3, and they made Pepper Potts like the extremist version. And
Yeah, that's
They didn't-
why
Iron Man 3 didn't do a good job of that, but that's the idea. You know,
that's what me
the
and
good
James. That's one thing that me and James will always agree on about Iron Man 3, and that's why me and him got excited that if only they can actually do the what if with extremists and we actually get the true version.
Real extremists.
Me, I'm like, this is the shit we wanted. Let's go. So definitely check those out, and if you do check them out, Steve, let me know, and I'll read it the same week, and we can review it that same week because I would love to.
All right, bet. Say less. I'll do it.
Yeah.
I don't have anything going, so I'll do it.
Awesome.
Yeah, but that was our review of the first What If episode. We talked about, you know, our excitement for the future episodes. Go ahead, Abe.
No, I was just throwing up the one. Yeah,
okay,
I'm with you. My fault.
No, you good, bro.
That does look like weight.
Yeah, me too. I'm like,
yeah,
is he about to drop one more thing?
No,
like,
my fault.
You good, bro?
My fault.
But yeah, I thought this was a really good review. Can't wait for the T'Challa episode. That one's going to be a hard one to watch, especially with it being Chadwick's voice and getting him to voice this character that we know is going to be a lot of fun. You know they're going to make a really fun Star-Lord. You know Chadwick had a lot of fun voicing this character, so it's going to be tough, but it's going to be very, very exciting watching it, and it's going to be great reviewing it for you guys, and I can't wait to do it with the council here with me. But let's get into the second main topic of the night, and we are going to be reviewing James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. The film was written and directed by James Gunn himself. The film has a Rotten Tomatoes score of 91%, critic rating out of 302 reviews, which is really, really impressive. It is the second highest DCEU movie that has been rated on Rotten Tomatoes, so that's a huge thing. It was number one for like 1 or 2 weeks, but it's since dropped to number 2, right under the first Wonder Woman, which, you know, I would put as number 1 as well. At the domestic box office so far, it's made $26.2 million. International box office, it's made $45.2 million for a worldwide total of $71.4 million, which is fine because we know a lot of people watched it at home on HBO Max for the first time. So I'm not sure how much they made on HBO Max. Like, I would love to see those numbers. It's easier to see the numbers for Disney Plus, but I would love to see the numbers on HBO Max, but we know this film is going to be successful. This film made me really excited to see the Peacemaker series. We've since learned that the Peacemaker series is more of an ensemble, so I'm hoping we get to see King Shark again. We know we're going to get to see some other people from Task Force X, hopefully. Hopefully we get to see Viola Davis on the show as well. So I'm really, really excited for Peacemaker, and the Suicide Squad was a lot of fun, man. I can't lie. Yeah. Like, as a critic, there are we going to do
non-spoilers real quick, or
we're gonna do general. We're gonna do general thoughts first. But this film, like, one thing James Gunn does really, really well is taking these characters that would not be together on any level whatsoever, but making them feel like they have this sense of family and bringing them together to a point where if and when some of them die, you actually feel it. And I felt a couple of these deaths that happened in this movie. I felt like it was very well shot. There's some gorgeous scenes. I love the music choices. And you can tell that James Gunn had a lot of fun. WB told James Gunn he could do whatever he wanted. And that's exactly what he did. And that's going to be a couple of my negatives with the film. A couple of the things that kept it from getting like a perfect score from me was because there was probably no one there to bring in the reins on James Gunn. And we'll talk about that in the spoilers discussion. But I want to toss it to you guys, and I just want to get your general thoughts on the Suicide Squad. What did you think of the production value, the acting, pacing, dialogue, all of that stuff? Let me get your general thoughts. Who wants to go first?
I will. No, Steve. No, go ahead, boss. CEO.
I was say
Incorporated.
I loved it. I loved it, especially because it was definitely a step up from the last Suicide Squad. So I came in kind of not knowing what to expect, and it was mind blowing because I just was like, I was out because when I saw the trailers, I was kind of like, is this going to be good? When I first saw the original trailer, I had just watched that Harley Quinn series, so I had already fell in love with King Shark. And then when he came in the trailer,
that series is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Well, anybody hasn't seen it, go watch it. We are all on the same page. Watch it.
So, like, when I saw King Shark in the trailer, I was like, he didn't say anything funny. I hope that they do it right. You know what I'm saying? I was worried about it because he was hilarious in the Harley Quinn show. So I was wondering about that. And then like I just didn't have any expectations for this movie coming in, honestly and truthfully, because I was super high on Wonder Woman part 84 going in, and it disappointed me. So I was like, let me not get my hopes up. And I was really pleasantly surprised. Like I really enjoyed it. I've always hated Amanda Waller, and I hate it. Viola Davis does a really good job.
Oh my god!
Just being just
girl actually got me scared for a second when girl was screaming at them, telling them to go back. I'm like, yo, you're actually scaring me. Who's
she
watching
was
you?
going to sacrifice a 16-year-old girl. Well, we'll get into
I know, but
discussion.
still, it's
oh
just
my
to
god.
know this is one of my favorite scenes of her. Like, I haven't watched all her work, but just seeing this just made me want to watch the rest of her work because she did so well. And what happens next just got me laughing, but makes sense why it happened. But it's freaking amazing. But Steve, continue. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good. Like, just Viola Davis did a really fucking good job. And like, I always hated Amanda Waller. And she, like, when she came on screen, Skylar was all like, I was like, I hate her. And she was like, I like her. And I was like, I was talking about Amanda Waller, but she was thinking I was talking about Viola Davis. And I was like, no. But like, it was just like, everything about her, she just really embodied that role. And I really appreciated Viola Davis for that. I enjoyed Idris Elba as well. The movie overall was really good. I really enjoyed it. As far as any gripes that I might have with it, I think my biggest gripe would just be the ending. As far as like how they took care of the big bad in the very end, that was my little small gripe, because I nitpick at stuff sometimes, and you know what I'm saying. But we'll get into that during the spoilers.
I mean, this is what we do. You know, you critique it. It is what it is. Like, it doesn't make the movie terrible, but we critique it. You know, so it's okay.
Yeah. So other than that, though, I really enjoyed it. I thought this shit was fun. It was a big fun ride, and it was hilarious. And you could definitely tell that you had that ex-Marvel Universe director bringing it into the DC side, because it didn't take itself serious. I feel like sometimes DC always takes itself super serious, making it really dark, really gloomy.
Because they thought that they had to be the opposite of Marvel. Yeah. It's like, no, like, pick your projects. Like, some things can be more upbeat, some things can be funny, some things can be dark, some things should be dark, like Batman. Like, save that shit for Batman.
Yeah, so I definitely enjoyed it. That's my piece on it.
Abe, or you want to go, or me?
Yeah, so for me, I enjoyed the movie entirely. It was just as crazy, as wonky as I expected anything to do with the Suicide Squad was going to be. Like, mind you, when I watched Suicide Squad, I believe Hell to Pay, that job was just as crazy. It was more like bloody vicious, which, you know, this one kind of was too, but just silly as well. James Gunn, I feel like it's hard not to make comparisons to Guardians of the Galaxy, since
facts
he's done both, and it's clear he has a certain type, and you can just read his MO. But
yeah, John Cena's Peacemaker is definitely Drax. Like, definitely.
But Steve's right. You know, this was, and JB mentioned it too.
Which is a better version.
While it's a gift and a curse, for me, it was Suicide Squad is a project that James Gunn should touch. It's meant for him, because you're gonna give us some really fun, chaotic, just visually appealing stories. And as of right now, because with number one of Guardian Galaxy, I love the comedy. Number two felt forced. The comedy didn't feel forced for me, really, in number one. So, well, I say number one, but when we dive deep, I'll refer to that again. But if they were to get a sequel to this, I hope that the comedy doesn't feel forced there. But James Gunn, you did a good job. I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun watching the film.
I felt like this movie was perfect for James Gunn. What Abe said, like this Suicide Squad, this type of genre, this team of bandits. James Gunn knows how to deliver, like Guardian of the Galaxy. This team of misfits working together and coming as a team. and they're not supposed to be a team, but somehow they come together in both Guardian of the Galaxy and Suicide Squad. And it sucks that we have to compare. Yes, it's from the same director, but when we watched the first one of Suicide Squad, people also compare to Guardian of the Galaxy because that's what we have as a big team up or to the Avengers. But the Avengers were actually in each of them were their own type of leader in their own right. But the Guardians, each of them has their own faults, but they work together. The same for Suicide Squad. And James Gunn, I felt like he delivered with the story. The ending, can't wait for us to talk about, because I feel like I'm gonna be the only one that actually enjoyed the ending of how they took out the big villain, because it felt such a Suicide Squad type of comic thing to do. Yes, it's very probably did not work in the movie aspect, right? That's why it did not work well. But I felt like it's such a Suicide Squad thing to do, because I've read Suicide Squad comics and they're very weird how they end, but that is their trend. And Amanda Waller, freaking amazing. She is her line. She said, one of her assistants said that you wouldn't kill or you wouldn't do that, and her line was like, you wouldn't know what I would do.
Things I would do.
Yeah, and it was just amazing the way she delivered, the way it made me scared. I'm like, shit, she might actually do it. Damn, what else can she do? But for those that don't know, read Amanda Waller comics, wherever she in, but she has respect for only one person of the whole Justice League, and that's fucking Batman. And she hates everyone else.
Fuck it.
She hates everyone.
She hates Batman, but she sees him as a necessary.
No. But I said like she respects him.
Yeah,
she doesn't mean that. She doesn't mean that she has to like him, but out of everyone,
you know she don't want to smoke with Soup. You already know.
He hates Soup even the most
because she don't want to smoke with the Kryptonian. All she knows.
She knows she gonna take him out. Let's go Kryptonian.
I fucking
boy.
Anyway, because it seems like
she's lucky that Zod didn't land on Earth, because Zod would have gotten her out the paint with the quickness, dog. That's just lucky.
But overall, again, to wrap my thoughts and everything, the pacing, I felt it fitted very Amanda Waller leading the Task Force X. I mean, Task Force X. That's an S. Wow. Task Force X. It fits so well, and for them to get a trilogy, because I don't know if the DCEU still counted this as a sequel. I don't know how they're still doing this, but if they do get a third movie in the Suicide Squad trilogy, I can't wait to see. And if James Gunn comes back to direct it, I wouldn't mind. But I don't mind if somebody else takes the helm either, because I really want to see a different take. But I really want them to continue what James Gunn did and not what the first director, I forgot his name on top of my head, did.
But it wasn't his fault. That was the studio. No. That was the studio movie. That's not Ayer's movie.
That was more. That was more them in our overall. But overall, I enjoyed the Squad a lot more, because I was supposed to watch an hour and then finish it the next day, but I just watched the whole damn shit because it was that entertaining. And who said friendly fire competition don't count as a win? Who knows? But yeah, I had a great time.
Me, I've seen the Suicide Squad 4 times now. Every time that I see it, it just gets better and better and better. But my issues still stand. I have issues with the pacing, and again, that comes from no one telling James Gunn to rein it in, put this on the Blu-ray, let's like make an extended cut for the Blu-ray, because there's like one or two things, mainly one thing, that I would take out. Much like Steve, the way that the villain was taken out and the other secondary villains, I thought it was all pretty weak, which is why I gave it a 3.5 out of 5 first, but because I enjoy it the more and more that I watch it, I brought that up to a 4.5. But we'll talk about more of that stuff in the spoilers discussion. But yeah, the pacing and the way that the villain was ended, I didn't really care for it that much.
Well, I was gonna say, like, we don't really have to shy away because it was in the trailer. Our boys, Star.
Yeah, Starro. Yeah.
Yeah,
how they deal with Starro, I'm not the biggest fan of. I felt like there was a couple missed opportunities, but it's not my movie, right? It's James Gunn's movie. It is what it is, and all I can do is just give you my thoughts on what I liked and didn't like. So let's get into.
I do want to say, Warner Brothers, if you want to do a sent up action figure of Bloodsport Gun, please do. I will buy it.
Dude,
That
I will
gun
buy that hot
is
toy
amazing.
in 4 seconds.
I will buy the hot toy, and I never bought a hot toy in my life. But if you buy that, Warner Bros., if you want to get an actual life like size a hot toy of that gun, I will buy it. I don't care if it costs $4,000 or something. I will buy it.
The fact that Bloodsport's helmet is a xenomorph head was the coolest fucking thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
I love it. And I'm like, is that a xenomorph form?
That's
like,
it's a xenomorph head. It's a xenomorph
and
head.
The more he adds to his weapon, I'm like, what
It's so
does he
sick.
do?
Dope.
And I'm like, that's amazing. Like, shit. Like, I want that. And just saying, as movie goes, comic wise, I don't know, but Bloodsport over Bloodshot as movie goes.
Yeah, in the comics for me as well. I was much more of a Bloodsport kind of guy. I don't know. Yeah, Floyd Lawton, he's a pretty cool character, but I was more of a Bloodsport kind of person. When I watched it in theaters the second time, my friend leaned to me. He was like, "So is Bloodsport just like Deadshot? Like, are they just the same characters?" I was like, kind of, but I mean, there's a lot of characters like that in comics in general. Like, Sportsmaster is really not that much different. Like, but instead of like guns, like he uses like, you know, like sports, like bats and like golf clubs, and you know, he uses that kind of shit, like a Quincy Jones type of thing. But like Casey Jones. Why did I say Quincy Jones?
I thought you were trying to get Swiss Army knife and then you Quincy Jones. I was like, oh, okay.
Casey Jones. Well, let's get into the movie itself. Let's get into spoilers because there's so much shit to talk about in this movie, and I can't wait to talk specifics. So the movie starts off with Savant in prison, and we get to see what he's able to do. Right, this is a master marksman. We see the X's all over the walls. We see what he's able to do with the tennis ball. He's hitting all of the targets, and then he kills a bird for some reason because he's.
I felt bad for the bird.
I felt super bad for the bird. And then the bird gets its revenge.
Birds die every day.
Not from
okay, but in a movie,
not murdered every day.
And by a handball either, literally just hit.
Wild stuff happens in the wild. You feel me?
But yeah, much like everyone else, Savant is given the opportunity to volunteer to join Task Force X for a mission to get 10 years off his life. And he meets up with the rest of his team, which I'm going to call Team 1. It's Rick Flag, TDK, Boomerang, Javelin, Mongal, Blackguard, and Weasel and Harley Quinn. Dude, Weasel is so fucking weird.
Oh.
No lie, I was like the guy that play I forgot. I think it was Blackguard.
Pete Davidson.
Yeah,
I knew the moment they cast Pete Davidson, he was going to be one of the first people to die. Pete Davidson and Nathan Fillion, instantly they were going to die. And one thing before I let you continue, Vash. Another thing that I loved is I love the slow-mo walk in front of the flag. Like, it's like reminiscent of the Right Stuff movie, but it's like these are the wrong people doing the right stuff walk. Fucking hilarious.
That was funny because who I didn't expect to die, I thought the girl Mongo was gonna stay alive. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. She's the alien, and we know her from the comics and everything. But no, they kill her off. Like, oh, okay. I thought like she's gonna stay, and then I'm like, yo, Rick Flag is gonna die here. Like, no, I like Rick Flag from the comics. Like, he's good. Like, don't kill him now. Like, come on. And just overall, like, just the chemistry in the plane. And just having Weasel fall down and can't swim, and just Rick Flag be like, did anybody find out if Weasel could swim?
Dude, and the look that Waller gives.
Yes, she looked like she was about to die laughing. Like she like,
oh fuck, damn, nobody find out.
I think that was the best scene that they could do because I bet you they did that take a few times and she laughed every time. So I think that was the best time because she literally looked like she was about to break character and laugh in that scene. And I was like, yo, this is funny as shit.
It was, man.
But like, not to jump, but did anybody really think he died? Because I really thought he died.
Who? Weasel?
Yeah, the Weasel.
Yeah, I mean, I thought he was dead, just like everyone else. Dude, I expected everyone on that beach, obviously, besides... Because I thought Boomerang was going to make it for sure.
Me too.
Harley Quinn, Rick Flag.
Obviously.
Those were the 3 people that I expected to survive the beach run. But they fucking killed Boomerang, bro. I was like, no.
Yeah, and he looks up at the camera and it's kind of like, oh shit.
He's like, because he's on the plane and he's telling Harley, just look, we're looking at people on hooks and body bags. They don't even know it yet. And that was the foreshadowing of him dying. Not to jump too far ahead, but Rick Flag tells dead Bloodsport in the bar, yeah, drink up. This could be our last drink together. Fucking is, so James Gunn does a lot of foreshadowing. And there's actually a promo image from the Suicide Squad. All of the people on the left side are the people that survived the movie. Everyone on the right side of the image are the people that died in the movie. Yeah. So I thought that was fucking hilarious. But let's get into it. Let me know, Steve, I want to start with you. What were some of your favorite moments from that fight sequence at the beginning on Corto Maltese?
TDK.
It's so stupid.
When his arms detach, and you're thinking like it's gonna be like how the Whistler dude was on fucking Guardians of the Galaxy, how it goes. No, that shit goes super slow. And then he's just slowly, he's like, stop shooting, stop, and he's like slow shit. But then what was even funnier was when they cut back to him and they're shooting the arms. He's laying on the ground screaming, like, oh my God. Bro.
That shit was getting me
James
like...
Gunn, that is the genius of James Gunn. We are watching people getting murdered, and it's fucking hilarious.
I didn't expect that, because when he asked, oh, what does TDK stand for? Like, oh, TDK, that's my name. Like,
it's
and then
me.
when it said, like, wait,
your name
letters or your name? Like, well, we all have letters in our names. Like, that's common. So, like, that shit was funny. But to actually see his powers go, I'm like, he about to die.
Bro,
like,
it was,
like, why can't nobody run to him literally to stab him? Or just cut off his arms.
So well, because I don't know if you guys have action figures and the arm breaks, but when the arm break, it's that little white nub that's right there in the arm spot. I love that they did that for that little, because it wasn't just like a little detachable piece. It really looked like an action figure toy. How that little arm
did,
had that little white thing that you can pop back into the socket. I thought that shit was dope.
For me, it reminded me of our boy, the chop fruit. That's literally what it reminded me of.
The chop fruit.
Buggy.
Yeah, of our boy Buggy. I'm like, my boy Dennis got a devil fruit here. He literally chop. But I'm like, don't he got some like guns where he can literally take his arms with him with the guns?
Bro, I thought I thought they were gonna speed up. And they still slowly drifted. I was like, what the fuck?
Dude, exactly, right? Because they cut to Harley, and even she's like, what the fuck? And I was thinking the same thing at the same time. I'm like, what is happening? Why him? And Flag is like, I didn't pick the team, okay?
And
I love Rick's response. He's like, yo, don't look at me. This is not my choice. I'm like, hey, it's your choice. You're the fucking leader. Do something.
I mean, there was nothing he could do, but know what was hilarious?
He couldn't pick the team.
The one of my favorite parts, there was 2 favorite parts I had from the opening sequence, was the fact that, like, one, just the massacre on the beach was like James Gunn's way of saying, well, yes, this is a sequel, it's also not. Like, let's get Boomerang up out the paint. We can't get rid of Harley Quinn. We can't get rid of Flag at this moment, but everybody else, let's just get them up out the paint. Like, F that. This is my Suicide Squad, right?
Yeah.
And then the second favorite part of the whole beach thing was when Javelin was entrusting the javelin to Harley Quinn. And he's like, it's for her. And she's like,
for what? For who?
I want it. And then he's like, stop. And he's like, yo, he didn't tell me what this for. Like, he just stopped. I'm like, oh my goodness. Harley Quinn, I'm like, this is perfect, yo. This is absolutely perfect. At that point, I was hooked.
I just love how at the end of the film, she'd be like, I know what this is for. I'm like, how do you know? Just because you have a fucking star little thing coming here destroying a city, you find out that you're supposed to stab the eye? That's how you know? The fuck?
I will say, I'm being a little nitpicky, but I'm not the biggest fan of the level of ditzy that Harley Quinn was in the movie, because she's still Harleen Quinzel. She's obviously different as Harley Quinn, but she's still highly intelligent. Like, she didn't get that job at Arkham because she was a nunce. You know what I mean? Like, she's a highly intelligent woman, but I don't know. She was just a little too ditzy for me.
No, I feel you. That's the danger that they run into with the Harley Quinn character, because it's like the ditziness is it's easy to draw people in and whatnot, especially since
it's really funny.
Woman too.
But
then
funny.
It's like you don't want to make her too smart, because then it's like people have some weird problem with smart women apparently. So I would like to see it play more on her intelligence. Like, we kind of see it in just creative ways, like with her fighting and whatnot, and how she just keeps herself composed all the time still. So it's there, but you can still show it off some more, because she was a licensed like psychiatrist. Like, this woman knows her shit. Like,
she's highly intelligent.
Play with her. Although it made, when we get to that, the whole governor president scene and that
I have lots
it
to
so
say.
much more funny
lots
about
to
that.
say.
But I agree with you.
Yeah. But any other favorite moments? Dude, Mongal, I thought she was going to do so much more. She jumps on the helicopter. I'm like, okay, well, at least she'll take out the helicopter. But no, I mean, she kind of does, but she kills herself and Boomerang.
Bro, she held on to it the entire way down. I was like, let go. Let go.
Right? I was like, but just let go. Just let go.
Man, that was funny. Even when Survive realizes that, like, we're gonna die, and he just takes off running. And he's like, he starts running. I'm like, where are you gonna go? You just gonna drown?
Right.
Right, yeah. Underrated moment, JB. You mentioned this, but the bird getting his revenge was. I thought that touch.
By the way,
like, oh, JB, you petty as hell.
Dibs on Margot Robbie is not on the list. Dibs on Margot Robbie.
Son of a bitch. All right, that's cool. That's cool.
Margot Robbie herself or as Harley Quinn?
Dibs on Harley Quinn and Margot Robbie, doing both.
I was just gonna say, Steve, don't give him the option. He's gonna take both.
I was gonna take both, but Steve,
I do need to add Steve to the spreadsheet. Actually,
add me to the dibs list, because I would like to throw dibs on Michiko from Michiko and Hachin right off the bat.
Unless I do it out of spite, since you technically not on.
Nah, I mean,
on Michiko.
The first one's free, okay? First one's free.
Let's take that one then.
No, never mind. Never mind. I already have Harley Quinn in my list. I'm just gonna add Margot Robbie then. Oh, that's pretty dope. I didn't know.
Good for you. But we also we cut to Team 2, and then we realized that Amanda Waller sent them. I mean, she didn't expect the ambush, but she sent them to their deaths essentially to draw the fire of the army so that the main team can get in. It's like Amanda Waller is a soulless monster, right?
Bro, and the fact that she sent Rick Flag with that team instead of fucking Team 2.
Yeah.
That's what really killed. I was like,
because she needed a leader she can trust, right? So which is why she chose Flag. She already had Bloodsport for Team 2. She needed a leader for Team 1. And again, they didn't expect the ambush, right? Mm-hmm. But Flag also knows the risks of going into the field.
And she did prioritize saving him too.
Right, later on. So we get the reveal that we have Team 2, Bloodsport, Polka Dot Man, Ratcatcher 2, King Shark, and Peacemaker. Great team. A bunch of characters that you never really think would work well together. But again, this is what James Gunn does really, really well, bringing them together. Like, when... and I know I'm jumping ahead just a little bit, but when Bloodsport and Peacemaker is talking about the bag of dicks on the beach, he was like, for liberty, if I had to eat every single dick that was on the beach, I would.
I will.
I will.
It's like, no.
And like John Cena, like, yes, he felt like for those that don't watch any type of wrestling, this was his frat boy type of attitude when he was first introduced and everything. And it reminded me of this, but for those that haven't also seen the movie, not Spring Breakers, the one that he had to chug some type of beer up his ass or something like that.
Cock blockers.
Cock blockers.
Yeah. Thank you.
His comedic timing is so on point.
It has improved as well in this film because I felt like he did such a good job in this film, and I was so happy with it. John Cena made me laugh so much throughout this film, and as Peacemaker as a character that I barely know anything about from the comics to know I was hella entertained from this. And for him to just have this type of chemistry with Bloodsport, aka with Idris Elba, and during like what said in the non-spoiler review, that friendly competition where they technically kill the rebels,
dude,
that wants to take it.
I can't wait to talk about that scene.
It like it just made me be like, yo, yeah, that ass didn't like. And I love her comment. She said, yeah, Americans, first, shoot first and ask questions later. I'm like, yeah, that's what we do.
These guys, they're fucking idiots. love that shit.
Rick be like, yep, they're idiots, they're dumbasses, I'm sorry. Yeah, just kill the whole thing here. I just love how and Rick was just drinking tea, like, yeah, how we been here, girl?
But small sidebar. I want a comic or something of Bloodsport Rick shooting Superman with the kryptonite bullet, right?
Yeah, I want to see it now. Yeah.
That, but also want a side comic with Bloodsport and Rick because they used to work together. So
yes, yeah. That'd be dope.
And plus, Amanda Waller said that Rick is the one that he recommended Bloodsport to be the next leader. So I really want to see why do they have such a good chemistry? What have they done before and everything? Because I also want to see that. And if Bloodsport tried to kill Superman, was Rick there, or is that when our boy went sideways? So I really want to see that.
Because I'm sure that was a contract hit, you know.
Oh yeah, contract hit too.
I forgot what comic it was, what issue it was that happened. But
on the topic,
nice to expand upon that.
On the topic of the chemistry between Bloodsport and Peacemaker, it feels like I don't know if it was just me, but it feels a lot like Hobbs and Shaw, like that kind of like perfect like buddy cop type of chemistry that they have was really dope.
What's funny? They're both in the Fast and Furious franchise, or was in the Fast and Furious franchise in the way.
Yeah, they both are actually.
That's another.
Because Hobbs and Shaw, still count.
Yeah. And there are 3 Doctor Who doctors in comic book movies. Thought that was really, really dope.
Yes, there is.
Yeah, Eccleston as Malekith, Tennant as Purple Man. And now Capaldi as a Thinker. Now we just need Matt Smith to do something.
Question about that. How did you guys feel about the Thinker? Like, I know we're jumping, but how do you guys feel about the Thinker?
I mean, it could have been anyone. It didn't
it's
have
not
to.
Our first time seeing him because we see him in the Flash too, except a different version. We see in the Flash, and it was like, I'm okay with it.
I mean, it made sense for it to be the Thinker, to be the one overseeing these experiments on this extraterrestrial for 30 years,
especially on a character like Starro. Yeah.
Right. So I mean, it worked. Did I want a little bit more from the Thinker? Sure, but again, I'm not James Gunn. I didn't write the script. But let's keep moving forward a little bit. So we get to the next scene, which is Bel Rev 3 days earlier, and this is where we catch up with Bloodsport. He's cleaning the bathrooms, cleaning the floors, and then Amanda Waller approaches him one more time. Do you want to join the Suicide Squad? He tells her no. It's like, all right, we'll see if this changes your mind. You have a visitor. I love this exchange between him and his daughter. Fucking hilarious.
And fuck you.
And fuck you.
Fuck cheese on pancakes.
And fuck you and your fucking socks. Nobody buys them. Fuck that merch.
Fuck you.
Fuck you.
That's really mean. Buy Inside of the Mind of the Blerd socks, people.
They won't even make your merch.
Waiting for days to do this, y'all. They were so excited. They
won't even make your merch, so fuck you.
Oh my
well, all he has to do is watch a certain anime by a certain time, and we will actually make and buy that merch. So
yeah. So soon.
I didn't agree
Steve, fuck you.
To buy the merch. That was before my time. I'm just saying that.
Yes, you're not roped into it.
Yeah. I'm not wearing that. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, but Steve, what did you think about that exchange between Robert and his daughter?
I thought it was hilarious. The reason why it was funny is because you can tell that they actually care about each other, but they just don't know how to show it. He's just an asshole. That's just what he is. But it's like he wasn't really there for most of her life, so he's just pretty much accepted the fact that she kind of hates him. So his
father fucked him up, and he didn't want to fuck up his daughter, and he thought it would just be safer if he was just like not around her, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then even when he makes the jokes about, like, he makes the statements about her mother and stuff like that. And then the funniest part at the beginning was he was like, "I thought you'd be smart enough not to steal a fucking watch." Like it's like he's pretty much like, she's like, "You're proud of
A
me
fucking
because of."
TV watch.
Yeah, TV watch. She's like, "You're proud of me. That's what you got to say. Just you wish that I just didn't get caught." He's like, "Yeah, you fucking stole a watch." Like it's like, it was funny because it's like pretty much it's like life lessons in a sense of like, okay, if you're gonna do this, the family business of being a criminal, you're not gonna steal a fucking TV watch. You're gonna actually do something worthwhile for you to get fucking locked up. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely like that. I like that back and forth. And if we can backtrack a little bit, the 3 days earlier when when it says it on the toilet, I loved every scene like that when they were kind of like doing it like when in the wind it would say now, or in the clouds it would say rescue Harley, and in that particular scene it says 3 days earlier in the toilet when he's about to scrub. I actually love that little segue that they did into each scene. I love that a lot. So yeah.
Um, this film was hilarious. Again, there's just a lot of funny moments that I enjoyed about this movie. Steve, I do agree with you. That scene, like seeing him like scrubbing with a toothbrush and whatnot, I was like, damn. And then
Fucking gross.
Yeah, and as we met like each new members, like Weasel's just busy licking the window, like,
yeah, licking the window.
Fuck is that? Like, what is going on? And then when he meets Peacemaker, is like, again, what people asked probably before this moment. Wait, so he does what I do between Bloodsport and Peacemaker? It's like,
just better.
Yeah, except I do it better. You do the same thing. Well, mine's smaller. I go through your bullet hole. And I hit more center mass than you do. And it was just like, I like the back and forth because it's a nice little joke because, yeah, we do have a lot of good, I mean, Deathstroke is another one. Deadshot, like there's at least 4+ right there who basically do the same thing.
Yeah, just on different levels.
So it's just like, all right,
it's just someone has smaller bullets.
Yeah, so it was just nice to play on that. I have Deathstroke #1, by the way.
Facts.
But I just
as you should.
That was a good way to set off the rivalry between them, and then Ratcatcher, Polka Dot Man, and us being like, yo, what is up with this man? Like, what is wrong?
What does he do? Throw polka dots at people?
Yeah, this fucking Calendar Man screams, "Hey, I need you to fucking play at my fucking daughter's party."
You fucking pussy!
It was hilarious.
And was that Jigsaw next to him?
Oh my
god! Yeah.
Who was that character supposed to be?
There's some dude that got, like, he's got like, he can peel like the cards off his face and shit.
Yeah. I can't remember his name right now.
I can't remember your name either. I saw like little Easter egg videos or whatever. They were talking about his character. You see Kaleidoscope Girl.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that. Yeah.
And then you see somebody else. I can't remember who else you see, but you see another character in there as well. But like I said, I freaking really love that scene.
I just never thought I would love Ratcatcher 2. Never thought in my life in a whole movie I would care for rats. I fucking hate insects, bugs, rats, cockroaches, the whole shit.
So y'all never seen Willard?
Yeah, I've seen Willard.
Nope, never.
It was like it's supposed to be a scary movie, but that shit was funny.
It was a horror movie about a dude who could control rats. And,
yeah, he could talk to rats.
Came out in like 93.
I have a phobia of snakes. I can't do snakes.
So, the only time
2000s?
No, it was.
Sorry.
I don't know. It was probably late 90s, but I don't think 93.
Okay.
If it is, then I'm old as shit.
We definitely know that already. But the last time I cared for a rat was Ratatouille. And then years later, for me to care another person about a rat, it's called Ratcatcher 2, and she's goddamn beautiful, gorgeous too. That actress that I just never, I don't know who she is, but now I will start caring about who she is because one, she made this character very, very sympathetic for us, the audience, to care for, and to know about her father and knowing why he wanted to put this rat power for what reason it is. I love it. I really connected to it. I'm like, oh, that's a beautiful idea. That's a beautiful type of image to know why.
He was a crackhead.
Yes, he's a
That
crackhead,
made
but at
me.
the same time,
It made me really sad, honestly. Like Taika did a really good job with the limited
I care
screen
for it.
time, but it made me sad at the same time too, because you have this guy who is literally a fucking genius who just can't get off drugs, or because of how eccentric he is, the bigger corporations, they wouldn't hire him, right? So that talent is absolutely wasted. Do you have any idea what he could do for humanity? You know, and we'll talk about this closer to the end, but I love his philosophy of just how, like, rats are, like, the most despised creatures on Earth, but if they have purpose, then we all do. No one's insignificant. And I love that kind of message, and I love, like, that's the mindset that she grew up on. You know what I mean? And I really, really appreciated that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we jump back to the island. This is where we were talking about Peacemaker doing absolutely anything for liberty. He'll kill. He doesn't care how many men, women, and children he has to do. It's like,
or liberty.
It's like, dude, but that's not liberty though. You're gonna murder children.
He said, but that's my peace.
Yo,
He said, I'll kill
that was colonialism. That was colonialism right there. So I was like, hey, James Gunn, I see what you did there. Yes, sir. Okay. But
and then
hilarious.
Yeah, they're camping out. Polka Dot Man throws up a bunch of polka dots, which is it was like, what the fuck is happening here? King Shark tries to eat Ratcatcher.
Ratcatcher.
It's like nom nom.
Like no. And I love how she said like would you eat your friends?
Humans are friends.
Not and they're like
are your friends.
But friends are friends.
But they were instigated. Then she was like, "Oh, now I'm gonna have to murk this shark with these rats." And that's when we found out that Bloodsport has a fear of rats. It's like, why would I tell you about liabilities?
Amanda Waller is doing zero research on these people.
She pays a team of people to do this shit.
Because mind you, earlier you remember the team was in the office like, all right, we got the money pool, and she's like, what y'all doing? And they're like, oh shit. And then it's like, plus, y'all not doing the work that y'all need to do. Like, y'all fucking up your own bag. Like, y'all didn't know that, the Ratcatcher and Bloodsport thing, okay, of course, an assassin would reveal his weakness. But the fact that Weasel couldn't swim is like, so nobody checked that. We just assume. I was like, yo, this team is hilarious. It's like, it helped in my opinion, counterbalance the viciousness of Amanda Waller by showing her this team that was,
which is great filmmaking.
Yeah, because if you kept the viciousness of Amanda Waller, now you step into Zack Snyder territory where it's going to be dark and whatnot. And likely, Bloodsport's daughter does get murked by Amanda Waller. But James Gunn did a good job of like, hey, I still want to capture that threatening level, but I also want to throw some comedy in there. And you got the team, because that was like, y'all mugs just not doing anything. This is just all games for y'all. Y'all don't really care until we see what they do later. Okay.
Like Peacemaker comes out in his tidy whities. He's like, "Hey,
I was just about to comment
racist.
that.
Why are you in your drawers?
I was like, wait, how is this racist?
He said, you're in tidy whities. He said, that's racist.
Yeah,
he's like, why are you in your drawers, man? He's like
we're in the middle of the jungle. You're sleeping in your undies right now.
He's comfortable enough because I wouldn't even be comfortable to sleep in a jungle like that. I'm like, nah. With bugs and everything, snakes out here, rats, hell nah.
It was it was so chaotic, that whole little scene, real quick, because she was just basically like, she was like, you wouldn't eat your friends, and they're in the background going, yeah, you would. Yeah, you would. And she's like, no, you wouldn't do that.
And then you realize how many rats were in the jungle. You were like, yo. They really be out here happy. I bet.
If you had one of those rat collar things right now, you'd be surprised how many rats are like probably in your neighborhood. It's so like, just thinking about that, just is like, what the fuck?
Like, I actually care for the rat called Sebastian, even though it had my brother's name too. But I'm like, I'm caring for a rat called Sebastian. But I'm like, I don't like rats still, but I actually want this rat to live. And when it was actually part of actually saving the heroes or saving the country, but going through the water and everything, I'm like, okay, cool. But how did we feel for the next scene, though? I gotta actually guess, because I did talk about it earlier. How do we feel about the next scene?
Yeah, that's next up. So let's talk about the slaughter at the camp. So they get the orders from Amanda Waller that they pick up Flag's signal, and they need to prioritize going getting him. And she says, Kill
anybody.
everyone you see. Dude, this kill count is fucking crazy. They killed 24 people in this sequence. 24 people. Mainly obviously by Peacemaker and Bloodsport. So bloody, so ridiculous. King Shark comes in, eats a guy. This guy has no idea what happened to him except that he is being eaten and the lights are going out. Like, the kills were so crazy. So I want to know some of your favorite kills, because I was fucking losing it when my favorite kill is Peacemaker's shot. He shoots the guy with the compression bullet. And
that was my favorite one, yo.
Yeah, Bloodsport's like, no one likes to show off unless what they're showing off is dope as fuck. I was like, yes, bro. He exploded. It was so fucking cool.
My favorite one is the one that where he shoot and the fan goes inside the hot tub where the guy's just literally chilling. And I'm like, damn, the guy was surviving, and right now that's cutting up his balls and everything. The fan is just curling him, and he just.
I mean, he was being electrocuted. He didn't even feel that. He didn't even feel. It.
Yes, he didn't feel it, but still, it like just imagine. I just felt bad, but I'm like, damn. And the way Bloodsport just going around and just killing people with the knives and everything, he just kept going so quick with it and so smooth with it. I'm like,
I love the wrist arrows. That shit is really cool. The gauntlet arrow. That shit.
Yeah, just like just going with it so smooth. I'm like, but just a friendly competition where it was happening so organically in the film, where like they were just doing their assigned job, and then they both were just going at each other, and then they just did a friendly competition out of nowhere. And for me, it was just hilarious. Like, it was just felt so good, and I was enjoying it.
I loved Peacemaker when he just was walking by with a dude that was sleeping. He was like, the quick, like, it was so quick. And he just
and the sound effect too. Oh my god, this dude's sleeping and he's getting fucked up, bro.
And you effed up his whole life. Could have just given him a killing blow instead. Now he's like, oh, what the?
Yeah, and he starts from the feet, so he felt all that shit on the way. It was that shit was hilarious. Another one of my favorite ones is when she's like washing her hands and she sounds like Fiona in Shrek. She's la da 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 da, and then all of a sudden he real quick with the dart gun. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. And it was like, how are they not hearing this? Because one dude got set on fire and started
Another one of my negatives. Like, your entire watchtower fell. How are you, like,
not here, oblivious to it?
Yeah, how are you this oblivious to what's happening around you?
I think it's implied because they're assassins, so like they know how to make things so smooth and quiet.
No,
but that's just my guess.
A watchtower
fell, bro.
When Bloodsport set dude on fire, he was literally screaming.
They were screaming.
Yeah. That one, you would have had to hear that one. But the watchtower, when Polka Dot Man knocked
the watchtower was the closest to the tent that they were in. How did you not hear it fall?
Unless you're saying that no one hears, when a giant tree falls in the forest, no one hears the sound. I guess.
Yeah, unless you're next to it, which they were.
But they were drinking, having tea. They were.
Bullshit.
Yo,
Bullshit.
You are a rebel army.
What if you get ambushed? I mean, they did, but what if you get ambushed by the other army?
You're not gonna hear your watchtower fall. You're not gonna hear your man screaming like, nah. That was just like let's like gloss it over kind of moment for James Gunn.
Yeah, but that one probably was my favorite one. Just the stabbing all the way up his leg to his torso. That was hilarious to me because it was so nonchalant. He didn't even really do much of anything. It was just.
Oh man, yeah, that was crazy. Did everyone already give their favorite moments from that? Because that was absolutely nuts. One.
And it was my favorite just because of the dialogue. It was the dialogue that really. I mean, throughout the whole that sequence, the dialogue between Bloodsport and Peacemaker was hilarious. But right there, he's like, "Just wait." Compression bullet blew up. I'm like, yo, he really didn't need to be actually blowing my man's up. Like, he could have just shot him in the head.
Fuck, he's right. He's like,
and it's just like, yo, they acting real childish, but I'm here for it because it's gonna give me just wild action sequences. So it was really good.
Yeah, man, really, really good. Like this sequence is my favorite of the entire movie. Like, I can watch this sequence on repeat over and over again. It was such a fun sequence, amazing. And then we cut to Jotunheim, and we get to see the Thinker, and we get to see the new Presidente and his lieutenants, and they're explaining and learning everything about Project Starfish. And they just make American people look so stupid sometimes, because it's like, really, right? Like, why would the astronauts bring an extraterrestrial onto their ship without, you don't have on any suits, you don't know what this thing can do, you don't know what you're exposing yourself to, and then and then Starro kills him. It's like, well, that's what you get, right? Like, you weren't paying attention. Like, that's what you get.
They're like doing peace to the camera. They're making, like, they're taking pictures next to it, smiling and shit. Yeah.
Yeah. But all of that happens, and then it cuts to not my least favorite sequence, but it is the sequence in the movie that I think is the part that shouldn't be in the movie. This is where I talk about the pacing, my biggest thing, where we cut to the meanwhile Harley, where we get to see Harley in the hole. She meets up with the president. We have that whole montage sequence of them having dinner. They have sex, that whole thing. I'm like, this scene is 1000% insignificant. This is 10 to 11 minutes in this movie that serves no purpose to the greater film. Because when we see Harley locked up a couple scenes later, you could have taken that scene out of the movie, and we knew that you could tell the audience that she was being tortured because they captured her, right? They showed up on Corto Maltese, they started killing a bunch of soldiers, so they took prisoners. So what did they do to prisoners? Torture them. So it's a completely insignificant scene that should have just been on the Blu-ray or a part of the extended edition that was on the Blu-ray. As a theatrical cut, that was something that should have been cut out in post.
So I think they kept that there, or James Gunn, they had that part because showing the Harley side of her not having a stable relationship, knowing that she, after what happened with Joker, from when we know with the Birds of Prey, of how she started to go back to the Harley Quinn Zell side of her, but still keep the Harley Quinn of who she is because of Joker and everything. But she still tries to find love. She did admit that in the movie, that she still tries to believe that there is some type of love out there, and there's out there for her. So I feel like they kept that scene, that she's still a character of the Suicide Squad. She still works for Amanda, for Task Force X and everything, but she's also Harley Quinn, who still tries to find love for her. And yes, that scene, I totally 100% agree. It could have not been there. You could just pluck out and could still be her just being captured and tortured. And the whole type of sexy scene with her doing the leg thing with the key, beautiful, sexy. I don't know how the fuck this girl did that. But
I disagree, Vash. The reason being is that I think that this scene was here just to give us more Harley Quinn. Because if you take it out, there wasn't much opportunity for solo Harley. And people want to see Harley. And this was a way to do it in such a very Harley-esque way. Like, of course, this dude is madly in love with her. And I agree, JB, this could have been on a like extended edition or whatnot, but they just said, hey, fell in love with her, we're gonna have her kill the guy and just basically point back to her relationship with Joker. Let's continue playing on that, and then let's just give her this badass, really gory but also hilarious montage of her just making her way out this fortress herself.
And that was amazing, right? But
yeah, it was just to flex Harley.
I agree with Vash to an extent. I think the scene is exactly what he said it was. To me personally, it was a way to show us the growth from Harley from Birds of Prey to this moment. But as I don't want to call myself a filmmaker, but as an aspiring filmmaker, I am looking at this as something that could have been taken out of the movie because it doesn't serve the movie. Harley already had her own movie. This movie needs to serve the Suicide Squad. Yes, you want to give Harley a moment to her own. She already has that when she gets out of the handcuffs and she kills like 40 people. That's the Harley moment. This moment shouldn't have been in the movie because it kills the pacing of the overall film just to give Harley an extra scene. And I don't think that actors and characters should be more important than the overall story. So I think that 10 to 11 minutes should have been completely cut out. Because how many times have you watched a Blu-ray? You watch the extended scenes, the deleted scenes, and it's like, man, I wish that was in the movie. But I get it. They cut it for time because in terms of forcing the narrative, nothing is different. She ends up in the same place because they arrest her from the beach. They torture her for information to find out who else she came with on the beach. And then she escapes, does the exact same thing. And then we don't have that giant gap of 10 to 11 minutes. And then we could have gotten back to Harley meeting up with the Suicide Squad. But Steve, what are your thoughts on this?
I think that 11 minutes was way too much. The only thing that I think that I agree with Vash where they were showing that the growth of her remembering about the Joker and her getting over that pain and misery. But we do have to remember she kills El Presidente and then they have to announce it somehow. So that could have been like a 2-minute scene. They could have just like, hey, I'm in love with you. They could have went straight to him looking out the window, you know what I'm saying, and going to like talking about killing kids and then she shoots him. And that could have been it. It could have just narrowed it down to like 2 minutes, maybe like a quick date, show a quick little 20-second sex scene, him looking out the window, talking about the kids, killing kids and doing whatever it takes. And then she realizing, oh, well, that's a red flag. I'll kill you. And then they could have went to the next thing. It could have been quick 2 minutes, 3 minutes, because they did talk about the fact that now that he's dead, this other guy's in charge. So that's one thing that I guess you got that, but that, like you said, 11 minutes, too fucking much. It's just too much.
I would have just written out the character in general. The second guy that takes over the role of president, it should have just been him the entire time.
Yeah.
Right? And then when he dies, the group of people in the room at the end of the movie, that's when they try to take over before the freedom fighters kill them. Right? So it shouldn't even have been two of them to begin with. It could have been easily
They want to give us more Harley. That's really what it comes down to. Give us more Harley. You know? Just have her
She had her own
out.
scene. Like that kill.
She
kills over 40 people solo. 40 people.
You gotta flex with Shorty. And
James Gunn talked about it in an interview. She kills over 40 people by herself. It was shot beautifully, perfectly in camera. I love the flowers and the animation because it all shows you how Harley sees it from her perspective. So I loved it. That was the Harley moment, not all of this other stuff. But like Lily's saying in chat, right? She thought it was a good scene because it fed into Harley's characterization in the movie. And I agree with that completely. That's why it's not like I don't wish that it didn't exist. But for me, again, as an aspiring filmmaker, that is something that I personally would have taken out to put on the Blu-ray and tell people to look forward to it because this is a great scene for Harley that gives her a little bit more characterization. But because the film was closer to 2:20, we decided to take it out because it was a pretty long scene and then we wanted to go from there. Like, I much prefer the extended editions of Alien and Aliens, but all of the scenes that they did take out, I get it. I get it completely why they took these scenes out of the movie. It's really informative. It's great for the character, but as far as pushing the narrative of the film, it slows the movie down. You know, It's only 11 minutes, but it brings the movie to a screeching halt, and it kind of kills the pacing, and then you get back into it. But small nitpick. Again, I'm not James Gunn.
I agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
Like,
so
just like you said, Harley Quinn's been in 2 other movies. She's played Harley Quinn in 2 other movies. What more? You want more? Like, I get it.
Birds of Prey was all about her getting out of that relationship and finding herself and making a name for herself outside of the clout of the Joker. But go ahead, Vash.
I was gonna ask, did we talk about after she got out of the cuffs and did the killing spree and everything?
No. Yeah, we talked about the killing spree. Yeah, we talked about the.
Yeah, but you can give your thoughts on it. Like we can talk about some of your favorite kills from the killing spree because there were many. I said it like when you were gone. She kills over 40 people.
And I love that scene because I love the imagery, the way she grabs the javelin I loved how she used that, and I love with the killing. And my favorite was when she's going down the hallway, and when it was going with the two semi rifles, I think they were, and just going at it. And I find it so stupid. Why the fuck are y'all running? Yeah, alerted 10 or 20 of y'all going against her.
Yeah, but she had the drop. She had the drop on them.
Harley Quinn is a goddess, yo. Oh my god.
Oh yes, I know, but still,
combat skills. Oh gosh.
Yo, the way she stabbed those people with the gates and everything, it was amazing. I'm like, it was amazing. I'm like, yo, girl, shit, you are turned on. Now you are a freak.
And shout out to the stunt people too, because them selling it is what makes it look so good. So shout out to the stunt
also,
people.
Highly agree with that.
Margot Robbie did that scene where she got the key, where she did that scene on her own.
Which I'm like, girl, how flexible are you though? Damn, shit.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's like, what else can you do with your toes?
So, to know what happened in that scene,
yo, we gotta bat. Y'all need a bomb. Y'all need a bomb.
But
I
that
heard
scene
it so quickly under his breath. It was like,
smooth with that, smooth talker here. But I love that scene with the flowers popping up behind her as well. That imagery of what James Gunn did there with I'm curious to know if that was post or during current production, because it just looks so well.
Definitely
really
post,
well covered.
Because that's Harley's, like, we're inside of her mind and we're looking at how she sees the world and during that fight. So they definitely, put that in.
You can
post
even
for
still
sure.
see the flowers as she's in the taxi.
Yeah,
that was hilarious.
And it's just so well done because of what Steve brought much earlier. For those that have not seen the Harley Quinn animated series, it really dives into more of the psychosis of Harley Quinzel, the character, and her persona, and how well broken she is, but how well her life was, and to know the characters around her, like King Shark, but also of what the flowers mean and everything, and to know that James Gunn added that to the movie and everything. So it made me feel like, wait a minute, could this show be canon? But it's not though. But I'm just like, yo, that would be so amazing if it was. But to see this action scene of Harley Quinzel, it was awesome. I love it. It's one of my favorite action scenes throughout the film. Just not because of her as a character, but of what it was like, just to see a woman fighting, and just her in this red dress and everything, and the whole time she had her red dress. Yeah, and girl had boots this time, because if I'm correct, most of the time when actresses that are a woman, like, they have heels, but girl had boots the whole time with this red dress. I'm like, okay,
always
girl.
fucking stupid. I hate it when they do that shit.
I'm like, just let them wear like boots or some type of wedges.
They're soldiers too. They're not gonna wear fucking heels, bro.
They don't need to. Like, let the action speak louder than heels. You don't need it.
Yeah, but
a good pair of boots to look real mighty fine on a woman. I like a good pair of boots. You feel me?
Yeah, but so I want to talk about the bar sequence where they're waiting for the Thinker.
Oh my goodness!
That was a really good sequence, because it was great to see all of these characters bond. Like we talked about in the beginning, this was the moment where Flag is like, yeah, take a drink. This could be our last drink together. You know what I mean? And they're bonding. I love seeing all of them together. I love Milton being a part of the crew. Poor Milton, he dies later on.
Later on,
that was hilarious.
Yo,
Harley was like, "Who's Milton? Where was he? Was he around with us the whole time?" And
Milton
then she said,
was
"Oh, okay, Milton."
And
so
then
like,
at
I'm
the
not Milton.
end, when she brought up Milton again, I was like, "This woman is wild." But when it came to the bar sequence, I just loved. It definitely was a good loose comedic moment. It got everybody feeling. All right, look, dog, Polka Dot, man. Oh, bar! I felt mad uncomfortable
watching him dance with his mom.
I'm like, bro,
what is wrong with you?
She really fucked him up.
Yeah,
really fucked him up in the head.
By the way, the actress that plays his mom needs a raise. Like,
right?
She plays so many different variations
she had a lot of variants.
Oh
yeah,
my God.
she did a great job, but I was just like polka dot man. I'm like, all right, I get it. Like when you see your mom when you're out on the field and whatnot, and that makes it easier to kill people. I get that. But why are you imagining her while you drunk and getting loose and grinding all shorties at the club? Like, what is wrong with you, Baji?
What threw me out is that he saw Starro as a freaking his mom.
Oh yeah, when we were good,
that threw me out.
I was gonna mention that. Was gonna be hilarious, but since we're on the bar scene, I was just like, yo, that was hilarious. And then on top of that, I did, it's just something minor, but when the soldiers came in to check papers, I just liked the realness of that moment. I don't know. It's tough to describe because I don't know why it just stood out to me so. But just them coming in and be like, hey, show papers. I don't care who you are. Everybody got to show papers. Yes, we're looking for Americans, but we checking everybody. Mm-hmm. And it's just them taking it, throwing it. It's like, yo, that's actually how it do be in like the quote unquote lesser developed countries or whatnot. And I was like, all right, bet this is serious. So what is Task Force X about to do? What they about to do? And it's just like, hey, yo, get them off that.
But it made sense. The three people that knows how to kill: Peacemaker, Rick.
Oh yeah, easily. It was a great plan. Great plan. That's why I was excited to see how they were going to handle this. Like, you guys are in a tight spot already. Y'all thought y'all was just gonna have the night off, chill, have fun. It's like, nah, B, we gonna make you work for this.
Yeah, gotta bring it back to reality.
Hey, yeah. I thought that it was gonna be another massacre in that bar.
That's what I thought, Steve. Yeah. I'm like, oh excited. Shit, are they about to have another competition of who kills regular people, kids out here and everything, start drinking too, like drink and kill.
Peacemaker kind of was like, what the fuck? When they was like, all right, you got me. Peacemaker was like, what the fuck? like he was like, turning myself in. Like,
This also led to like one of my favorite moments because they get captured, right? Polka Dot Man and Ratcatcher take the Thinker to the van, and then they're in the back of this transport truck, and Bloodsport is talking about the Death's Touch. Love this sequence, and I love that you can see, and it's great camera work by James Gunn too. Just quick little cuts to Rick Flag's face, to Peacemaker's face, because they're piecing it together, and they do it all at the same time on one, and they do it. Love that sequence. I thought it was sick.
Mm-hmm.
What did you guys think?
I love that sequence. I love that whole little truck scene, because then Peacemaker reaches through the to the front of the side, and he's killing.
He's just grabbing the guy and just bashing his head against
I'm like, if you don't stab his hand, do something.
Yo, honestly,
my man tried to reach the wheel too. I'm like, come on, I can't.
Yeah, because of that, and they were crashing. I was like, there's no way he doesn't break his arm, right? And I was like, is his arm still through it? And if it looked like he was still had his arm like that, I'm like, how does it not break?
I mean, he survived massive blood loss, so I think he's okay.
Oh my God, because my arm would have been broken.
Your life is on the line. He's got half of his arm, and he's killing you. Your life is on the line. Do something. Like, he just was letting himself get rammed.
Steve has head trauma. His head is being bashed into metal repeatedly. He can't think.
Yo, it was hilarious. It was good. Again, it was fire. And then Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy, yo. That whole movie was just freaking ridiculous.
Yeah, man, and I love the way that it's edited too, because we get all of that, we get the escape, and then I love the VFX. We get the Operation Harley thing, and they try to go rescue her. And Rick Flag's like, we have this great plan too, and Harley's like, well, I could go back inside, and you guys can rescue me.
And then I love how you say bird, like King Shark. Brr. Like,
no, wait. Hey. Stay off the comms.
Stay off the comms. I just love that. But I was actually like, how did you like with the whole VFX? Like, how do you like the next transition showing each type then move into the next act? Because for us, I knew that's them telling us the next act is happening. So I just love that very much. But I love how it kind of visually told the audience as well. So I just love it. Like, how do you guys like those little small touches?
Yeah, I mentioned it earlier when I was saying like they do the toilet thing and it says 3 days earlier, but I guess I didn't know the exact term for it. But yeah, that's why I was saying I love those little cuts and stuff like that, how it was doing that with the visual effects and stuff like that. That was pretty cool, especially when he was using the environment to do it too. Like even at the very beginning when Savard dies and it says Warner Brother Pictures presents.
Yeah, in the blood.
Yeah, in the blood.
And then like the soap and the water on the toilet with blood sport. Like that was dope too. Yeah. I love all of those moments. We'll get into one of those moments too. We're about to get into the Jotunheim scene. So everyone finally gets together. The whole squad's together. They have the Thinker. They're going through the gates. They got through security. And I love this shot of them, again, doing the right stuff, slow-mo walk, but in the rain. I thought the music choice was great. I thought the shot itself of all of them was amazing because there's like mist in the rain, and then they walk into frame, the slow-mo walk. It looked incredible. Love that sequence.
How do you like the whole conversation of trying to bring the Thinker to join, like saying like, if you have any license plate or any permits and everything,
if you have a customized license plate, you die.
Yeah, and they said those were like callbacks to like Harley Quinn because the Joker had like a customized license plate.
Yeah,
and all this stuff. So basically, it's just letting you know that she can't stop thinking about the Joker like the entire time.
So Harley is DC's basically golden goose egg right now. It's raps. It's raps. Like Margot Robbie is about to get the bag. It was truly hilarious. He was like, hey. Rick Flag was like, hey, because she was like, if you sneeze and you don't cover your mouth, you die. He's like, hey, it's not that, but actually, please don't take this as an invitation.
Because I will fuck you up.
Yeah. I was like, oh, well, hey,
wrong. She doesn't get a point. We're in the pandemic and shit. Like, we gotta do that.
Yeah, but like favorite kill of the whole movie, it's this sequence in the rain against the military. King Shark grabs this guy, caves in his chest, and rips him apart with the lightning strike. I'm like, oh, bro,
ripped him in
my
half.
theater, the theater I was in, erupted, bro. They were loving that shit.
Yeah, it was definitely dope. And yes, the lightning scene just all right, because we're used to him just chomping, but it was like, nah, let me show you this hand strength. Let me rip this guy and legit rip him.
Yeah, he was like those dudes that used to come to your high school for the pep rallies that rip phone books.
I never got that, Steve. Damn, I feel a bit out of place. Like, damn, I never got that.
I never had we had like these super strong, like world's strongest men, quote unquote, people that would come to for like Dare Week for like stay off drugs, and they would come in and they would like rip phone books. I'm like, where'd you even get a phone book from? But they had like the yellow pages. They ripped the whole fucking thing.
Oh yeah, I forgot. It's because you're older, so it makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense.
Shit, here we go again.
So half the team is setting the charges. I thought it was absolutely cute with King Shark making the Peacemaker.
Yeah. Peacemaker.
I thought that was hilarious.
That's not me. No.
And then they're going down in the elevator, the bottom floor. It says "Dirty Little Secret." I thought that was really, really funny as well. But then again, this is what James Gunn does really, really well. All of that stuff is really, really funny, action packed. But then it gets a little bit serious again when we realize that the American government decided to put this thing on Corto Maltese, to not have it in America, experiment on it, and not care about the people that they were experimenting on. Journalists, political rivals, family members of those politicians. It's fucked up, bro. So they don't care, right? Like the government they're just as much the villains as anyone else, even more in some cases, because a lot of these villains, they're just trying to eat. Some of these people are just trying to feed their families and get through life, and they just end up taking the wrong path. Unlike the government experimenting on hundreds to thousands of innocent people, completely fucked up.
And I love how Rick Flag kind of protected this, because it reminded me of, for those again, like we've said in the show, read the Suicide Squad comics. Rebirth is great. New 52 on some runs is great as well. I highly suggest it for those to watch it. For those to read it. Where Rick Flag did such an amazing job with how he felt heartbroken, because he said that he served his country to protect it, but to find out that he came here just to help and save their ass, that really kind of hurt his pride for what he fought for. And that fight with Peacemaker, aka John Cena, and everything, that hurt me. Like, I was rooting for both sides. I'm like, damn, I want you to win, but then I want him. But I like Ric Flair because the comics. But John Cena, I like him as a character, but I don't know no shit about Peacemaker from the comics. I'm like, damn, who to win? And I'm like,
another great acting moment from John Cena. Like, when he realizes that he killed Flag, he's like, fuck, no. Like, you can see it in his face that he feels like he made a mistake.
I love that because he said it like, I look up to you. Don't let me do this. And I love how John Cena embraced that scene, because what James just said, it showed in his emotions that, and I just got goosebumps from it, because he literally said it before he killed him. Don't let me do this. Just give me the disc. And he said, I look up to you. You are some type of hero.
He called him a hero, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, he did that. Okay, cool. And he said that. And then minutes later, like a minute or two, he killed him. And he didn't want to, and he felt hurt, but he couldn't process those type of emotions because who was in front of him? Ratcatcher. So he couldn't really process those emotions after he killed his hero. But I felt that, like, Peacemaker was hurt, and when he tried to not kill Ratcatcher, he didn't want to kill Ratcatcher because he felt hurt, because he just realized he just killed Rick Flag a couple minutes ago. So like, fuck, don't let me do this. I just did this to somebody I didn't want to. And he doesn't kill children or women unless it's for liberty. But he didn't want to kill Ratcatcher. So like, he was in a dilemma because he was trying to do this for his country.
Well, yeah, he didn't want to kill her, but he felt like he had to, because she knows about the drive. Yeah. She knows of its existence, so she could talk to it. So. And the actress did a really good job, playing up the fear. Mm-hmm. Really good job.
But it felt like a coming out party for John Cena as well, because like most of the time you only see him doing comedic beats. He never, even in the movies where he's doing comedic roles and things like that, he doesn't have those moments where it feels like,
because his first movies were like 12 rounds and whatnot. It was like, all right, your typical WWE into like this action crime drama, and it's like, it wasn't really that good of a story, and then it's just like, all right, now you're stuck in comedy. But now it's like, all right, you can give us still a comedic moment, but we can get a good action series or film out of you for sure. Let's revisit that again.
He gave us some good emotion in that, like JB said, in that scene, you could see the emotion when he literally stabs Rick Flag and everything. Well, and like, this feels like, a coming out party for John Cena. It felt good.
Was you guys rooting for John Cena or Rick Flag? Like, how do you guys feel about it? Like, when Rick Flag expressed his emotions about the pride of the U.S. government and how he felt betrayed by Amanda Waller and, not getting told the real truth about the mission, and then Peacemaker, came to find out about the drive. How did you guys feel about that, about the conversation, and who did you support, if you had to say? Because Abe, I know you're about to say fuck the government.
Nah, people die every day. It didn't matter. Both were right in their own respective accords. For Peacemaker, it made sense. Like, this could not get out. An international incident would happen. America would be enemy number one. It'd be bad. Of course, it made perfect sense. Mm-hmm. But also made sense for Waller to be like, F all this. This is like what I'm sacrificing my life for. So at that point, I was just like, whoever got the better hands is going to be right.
I definitely thought I thought we were going to get a beat down. I didn't think we were actually going to get a death.
I felt like a death had to come. It just fit. It's like, people dying left and right regardless. So like, let's kill somebody.
I thought Rick actually died there, but finding out that he stayed alive at the ring, and I'm like, oh shit, how the fuck did he live?
No. That was Peacemaker.
Peacemaker, yeah.
Yeah, Rick is done. He gone.
At the end, that's Peacemaker.
It's Peacemaker, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, because he's standing over Ratcatcher. And then we'll get there, but it's a standoff between him and Bloodsport. And then he gets shot. But yeah, man, I did not see that death coming at all. Like, that actually really shocked me. I thought Rick Flag would have survived this. Rick Flag is a really, really fun character in the Suicide Squad run. Like, I loved him in New 52 and like Rebirth and stuff like that. It was really, really fun. But how did you guys feel about the way that Starro killed the Thinker? Oh my God, was that good?
He rips his body.
Hey, we saw King Shark do it. Might as well see Starro do it, and it made so much
Please,
sense.
I've learned my ways. Please, I'll turn over a new leaf. I knew what I did to you. I promise. I'll change. I swear.
It's like that's not
turned into thinker detachable kid.
Detached from everything.
Yeah, it was TK too. But
it was dope. And then the fact that Starro was getting loose was like, all right, so this is our, big bad in the sense of like this is going to conclude. We're entering the conclusion, right? I just love the whole while this is happening, while he's escaping. Yes, they're fleeing, and then we do get to the standoff too. I know there were moments where the movie felt like it dragged, but I enjoyed them not revealing Starro like it's loose and free as quick as they did. I like having this moment, where it's just like, hey, we're seeing all of our heroes and what they're each facing while this is happening. We'll see what's going down on the ground floor. It felt perfectly timed. So I was a big fan of that sequence for sure.
Yeah. So let's get into the third act, right? So we briefly just talked about it, but we get the square off between Bloodsport and Peacemaker. He shoots Peacemaker with the smaller bullet, and he's bleeding a lot, bro. How he survived, I have no idea, but comics, right? But let's get into the third act. This is not necessarily something that I had an issue with, but I just feel like this could have been handled better. Bloodsport in this moment, I felt like this felt too much like the first Avengers movie, where it's like, you do this, King Shark was Hulk, Hulk smash, King Shark, nom, whatever. Like, it felt too much like the Avengers movie, and then they didn't really come together as a team the way that I personally would have cared, because when it comes down to the end of the fight, King Shark, he ate a little bit of Starro, and then he's thrown into a building, and then that's it for King Shark. You know what I mean? Like, so there's just certain things about this last fight that I didn't really enjoy that much. I didn't necessarily care for Starro being beaten by being eaten from the inside by a bunch of rats. Yes, it is technically cool because, like we said earlier on, it's the message, right? The fact that rats are seen as these insignificant creatures, and they were actually the perfect tool to be used to take out this extraterrestrial being that could take over the world, right? That was cool, but it's a Suicide Squad movie, right? Like, I wanted to see all of them doing stuff at the same time, contributing. Like, I wanted Polka Dot Man to take out a leg, maybe King Shark takes out another leg, the rats eat like an arm or some shit, Bloodsport like shoots the eye, like something. I just wanted more of like a coordinated effort. But I'll toss it to you guys, and I want to know, what are your thoughts on the third act fight and how they defeated Starro?
So with the third act for me, as I mentioned before, they definitely nerfed the hell out of Starro, because Starro is a powerful telepath. But I also did like the way that they nerfed him. They were like, all right, he shoots offshoots of himself. It works like
that are like face huggers, and
they're
really gross.
Oh god. And then boom, that's how Starro is able to control the people. I'm like, okay, that's one way to nerf him rather than him just being able to invade your mind, because we haven't really, seen too strong of a telepath like that.
Yeah, and there's not enough time in the movie too,
Yeah, to really.
But sorry to interrupt.
That. No, you're good. And so I enjoyed the fight. I was satisfied with the way they decided to take him out, because, like, if you know anything, that doesn't mean Starro's done. But I do agree with JB. A better concerted team up effort. Like, they tried, and then you started to be like, all right, let's get Polka Dot Man out the paint. Like, it was like, oh, all right, he had this moment. That's like you mentioned, Vash. Like, we're looking at giant Polka Dot Man's mom trying to rampage, and it's like,
was so weird. I'm like,
the leg. And then not them trying to have a moment like, yo,
I'm a fucking superhero.
Finally,
and
then it's
like, and then he said, and then gets killed like a cockroach, like gets literally splat. I'm like, my
like
man. That one pissed me off, because I loved him. I loved
I was just
that one actually got me mad, because I'm like, I actually want him to live.
I would have much rather him be like an ultimate sacrifice. Like, I did it, and Starro is going down, and then
yeah, like that. Like
that would have worked.
I would have not mind if he took the W and not Harley. Like I wouldn't mind that if he actually took out Starro because of his type of power. Like, oh, he's the one that could do it. We just gotta back him up. So Bloodsport, Harley, all backed him up. He's the one that we just gotta protect. But then the way he just got killed, like it's just a little flat. I'm like, I can actually like him.
Yeah, so for me, I was just like, you know what, I'll accept it. You know, it's typical Suicide Squad. Yes, at the point that they killed Rick Flag, I was like, the only person safe is Harley Quinn, really. So like,
Facts.
if everybody got to get
Bloodsport, I didn't think there was any chance of Bloodsport dying.
I was like, you know, who knows? But I was like, Harley Quinn is death safe, and of course, her being the final move to take out Starro with Ratcatcher. I was like, cool, but you know, my favorite line throughout that whole scene was what Starro said. I just wanted to look at the stars and be alive.
Yeah, I was happy. Like,
Same.
I heard that. I was like, oh, y'all see, this is y'all fault. Y'all see what
I'm a weirdo. Like, I
like,
instantly thought of Blade Runner for some reason. At the end with Roy Batty when he talks about you know how your tears in the rain and all that stuff. Like, I love that sequence.
Mm-hmm.
I know for me, like, I can get too literal sometimes, and it's annoying to myself, and it's annoying to the people I'm watching movies with, because like the entire military force shot at Star-Lord's eye, and it didn't do anything. And then Harley Quinn runs up there and fucking javelins and then goes through it, and I'm like, huh.
I mean, they were useless, period, right? Like, that's another negative that I have of the movie. The military presence should just be a little bit more than just fodder, right? Like, this is the guy that wants to use Starro as a weapon to destroy the United States, China, Russia. I felt like I should have felt a little bit more from him, right? Like, yes, he was insignificant compared to Starro, but I just felt like there should have been a little bit more with the military. But
I was like, bullets are literally hitting his eye and it's not piercing it.
Yeah, it's like, okay, and the javelin does it?
Yeah, that frustrated me just because I'm too literal in a sense, because I know it's a movie and I shouldn't be like that. But I have those moments where I'm just like, all right. So, but then Harley Quinn jumps through the eye or whatever. And then I'm like, okay, so she's going to drown in this fucking eye. And then Ratcatcher comes and she does what she does. And then it's kind of like a coming, you know what I'm saying? Like, I got to get over my fears moment for Bloodsport, because it's like rats are coming and he just got to lay there and kind of just deal with it. But
nightmare.
Pretty much a nightmare. Like,
I would be having nightmares too, like months. If that happens with any bugs, snakes, I'll be like, nah, I'm leaving. I'm gone.
What would have been hilarious if they could get Idris Elba to do it was just to have him scream during that whole scene, and you could just keep on hearing his screams in the background. That would have been hilarious to see during the movie. But like that whole
I do wonder how they, like, during production, I do wonder whether, like, was there some type of fake mice or something like, or were those
fake mice?
No, like, I know, but were there actually real, like, some real actual mouses?
Sebastian was the only one that James Gunn mentioned from the interview that I watched anyway. So Sebastian was multiple rats that they had for Sebastian, but all of the other rats were CGI. But Sebastian was a couple different rats.
Hey, Sebastian.
I wonder if Sebastian is related to the real hero of the MCU, which is the rat that opened up the portal for Ant-Man.
They're cousins.
They're cousins because of the multiverse. That's why.
Yeah. Like, no, they're not variants, but they cousins for real.
Another thing that I wanted to talk about. I love the fact that Waller was seconds away from killing Bloodsport because they went back to help the people of Ortiz. And then her team just hit her with a golf club across the fucking head, bro.
Yeah.
And I love how she said, "Get back to work. We here to save." And she said, "All right, guys. So,
everybody was on board.
Let's go." So, like, I love how girl went back to work because she literally knew what she did. She knocked out Amanda, but there was the next person. There was the next person in command. So I love how she knocked her out, but she rose to the occasion and took command and told everybody get back to work and let's help these people save the goddamn country. Because if not, The next country that's next is the U.S. So I love how she took a man, and I'm not sure if we saw the person still in office after Mondo woke up, because
Yeah,
I'm not
she
sure.
looks at her. She's in the background.
yeah.
And
Oh, she's
Amanda
in the background.
like,
Okay.
She kind of glares at her a little bit.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like
It's
She's like, bitch,
She's
I'm gonna
definitely
kill
fired.
you. Like,
She's
I'm
either fired or
gonna
dead.
murder you. I'm gonna get you in the front.
I think Waller kills her for
Yeah,
sure.
Nah, ain't
Because I'm about
no
to say,
way
the first-
you hit me with my golf club.
in the first
And
Suicide
then
Squad,
you
she
run-
kills everybody.
Yeah,
and
she
she
kills
said,
the entire
I was-
team, bro.
Yeah. Girl even said, I'm training because I'm gonna go play with the mayor or some type of
Some senator,
type of governor,
or some
senator,
shit, yeah.
right? She said, I'm gonna play, I'm gonna look like a fool, and you hit her with the own golf park that she was training with. She's gonna come back and kill you, bitch. She'll be like, bam, you thought you had me?
Did we skip the 8 minutes prior scene? We did.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. With Milton, because we
Yeah,
briefly
with-
kind of talked about it.
Yeah,
Because I was just
no,
about to talk about Milton again.
Yeah, go ahead.
When she was like, he was like, I don't have any friends, and she's like, I'll be your friend, Milton. And he's all like, my name's not Milton. She's like, we just had this conversation, and it's like, he's like, no, we didn't. We did not just have it. She's like, you just said your name was Milton. It just made me think about that other scene where he was all like, it's not my name. Like,
oh my goodness! And then of course we did gloss over when Milton actually did die. She's like, Milton? Who the fuck is Milton? We had a Milton? When did we have a Milton? Who's Milton? Is that Milton? No, that's not
shout out
Milton.
to Spicy in chat.
Back. Hey, shout out Spicy. But then to go back and call Bloodsport Milton, it was like, what the hell, dog? It's like, again, so much Harley Quinn, but I wasn't mad at it. I wasn't mad at it.
Yeah.
Also, we also have to talk our boy King Shark. No, he was just being friendly to random fishes in the water that he just saw on the rooftop.
God.
I hate that sequence.
It was dumb. It's dumb, but it was cute. For it lasted too long than it should have been. It should have lasted like 10, 50 seconds tops, but it was cute. But it backfired because those things were actually trying to eat King Shark, not actually trying to play with him.
Yeah, it's almost like, okay, this is a test screening. It's like, well, is King Shark invincible because bullets just bounce off of him? He fell from like almost the top floor of a building and he survived. Is he invincible? Well, we need a scene to show that he's vulnerable and he could die so that there can be a sense of dread. I feel like that's the only reason why that exists, because it doesn't matter. Yes, it is Jotunheim. Yes, it is a place where they experiment on extraterrestrial beings, but it didn't work for me, man, because they're not around long enough. They show up for like literally like 2 to 3 minutes, and then they just show up again when the glass breaks to start like eating Nanaue. Like, it's kind of insignificant to me.
Yeah.
At first, I actually thought we were gonna lose him right there. I was like, oh, okay, is he gonna die right here? And then, of course, he gets up and he nums again.
Yeah.
No.
And he's just nibbling on this guy's head, like literally a guy's head.
Like a baby with a bone.
Yeah.
Like that was the drumstick, and he just going to town. It was wild. But I agree with you. That sequence with Nanao was like a moment of trying to make it more sentimental. Like, he's always felt out of place because keep in mind when they were at the bar, he was just chilling in the truck, just kind of singing.
And they left him like 3 or 4 times in that
building.
Yeah, they just
it was
left. Didn't say come on or anything. They just left.
Well, I mean, he can't blend in, remember? So.
No, I'm saying in the last scene in that building where they're placing bombs, they just leave. They don't say come on. They don't. So
this whole fish moment was just like, hey, like let's give them now that moment of connectivity of like, oh, I feel like y'all understand me. And then of course let's shout it at by them being just blood-sucking creatures that are trying to kill him. Like it was you know what? Yeah, I wasn't mad at it because of that, but it was needed.
I didn't even realize that was Sylvester Stallone until the very end when I watched the credits. I was all like, oh shoot, that was Sylvester Stallone. Okay. So shout out to him. Because he did a pretty good job of just like dumbing down it really good.
Yeah, man. Any other final thoughts before we get into like the final scene with them on the plane and the ride back?
I I love how Idris Elba again talking about his guns and talking about his whole type of armor, the way he just grabs parts of his body and there's all like there's on his belt, on his legs, on his back, on his side. Like he's an assassin. That like that's why he is trained and knows how to kill very well. And I love how he just gets ready and when he gets that kind of hero scene and when Ratcatcher said like I knew I was a good in you. I love that scene because he was gonna just listen to Amanda Waller and just bring back the just do the job and everything. But he felt bad for the people. He felt bad for the country. And I just love that scene, like just go back and save these people because he just still has a good inside him. And that's what made him realize about his daughter and plus what Ratcatcher said. And just to know it just Elba just did an amazing job for me to be entertained and just to show that he's an assassin and his just gun. It reminded me a bit of Halo or like some type of or
Yeah.
like some type of video game in an aspect like some very futuristic, So I was entertained with that gun and everything, and just with that scene overall.
Yeah, I also love the plane sequence because it also gives Bloodsport some more closure, with
Right.
himself, because he's dealt with that trauma and that fear of rats like his whole life because of his father. And he takes that opportunity and he's like petting Sebastian to like get over that fear. So I thought that was a really, really like pivotal moment for that character. Harley falls
Mm-hmm.
asleep. Of course, Ratcatcher just instantly falls asleep on King Shark, and they're on the way back, man. Like I thought that was really, really cool. I would love to know how much more years Bloodsport has on his sentence, and I want to know how much years did Harley get for driving into the bank. Like, will this like wipe out like the 10 years?
Yeah,
Will
she
that
should
wipe
be
out her
free.
record? Like, is she
She's free.
good? Like,
That, but also I love the control that Idris Elba took as a leader because I love what our girl Amanda Waller said. Hey, I told you I'll make you as a leader. Look what you're doing. So I love how she
facts.
proved him right, knowing that he never wanted to do this job, but his job actually became something good out of him. He got the good that his daughter always believed in him, or he never believed in himself, but he also became the leader that he was meant to be. So Amanda Waller actually did something good on her part. So I just love that aspect. And just to see what Ratcatcher did for him, like, hey, if you kill us with these bombs in us, we will have the U.S. government type of secrets out in public. So I just love that scene too, like knowing that, like, bitch, you got our backs, we got your back. So I just love that type of scene.
I love the complexity of Waller because from her perspective, like she's just doing what needs to be done. These
Yeah.
are a lot of these villains are just fuck ups that just gonna be in and out of prison anyway, that they don't actually serve any real purpose to society, and she's repurposing them to save the world, right? Like there's not a lot of people that would have the resolve to do what she does. But there's a lot of moments where she crosses the line for me. Like, yes, you needed Bloodsport for this mission, but I mean, you're threatening to put a 16-year-old girl in Belle Reve, bro.
So
It's
so
the
she can be murdered.
it's the highest
That's
mortality rate in the country.
of DC Comics, like really, like you're gonna put her there with all other meta humans and bad guys.
And she would do it too. That's the thing. She would do it.
She would do it, and my dude was ready to kill her, like had the whole needle, and she just told everyone, "Stand down, stand the fuck down." I was like, "Okay, girl, okay, you got it. You got the balls in this room." Like I love that scene. Like it was great, and like what she did, what James said, she was threatening a daughter, but he said that he didn't care to be a father, but he still appreciates him being as a father himself. He just don't feel like he's a good one, but he still loves his daughter. And I love the scene of his daughter staring at the TV saying, "That's my dad."
I hated that.
I love
scene.
that.
I
Really?
I hated that.
Really?
Why?
I just
They
find
didn't
it
earn it.
cute.
It's not earned. They didn't earn it.
I don't know.
I don't
Cute.
feel like they spent enough time. Like yes, like we got a small little bit of the dynamic between him and his daughter, but I don't feel like there was enough of the two of them in the movie together for that to be earned.
I agree,
and
but
hate's a strong term. I'm being extra, but I didn't care for it.
I see what you're saying, but the reason I like it is because she told him in jail, like, I come here to see because like she believed there's some type of good in him. So for her to see on TV and what the news reporter said, like, these ragtag of people came and saved the country. She like, oh wait, my father actually did something good, and he all talk about there's no good in him no more. From the jail scene, like in the writing format, it worked. Maybe in the scene, actually, it did not. But in writing format, from what they said, from the jail scene to now, it worked.
I agree with that completely. Yeah. So, any other final thoughts from you guys before we head out on the Suicide Squad?
Look, y'all, it was a great movie in terms of I would give it an 8.5. You know, I enjoyed it. It was as crazy as I expected it to be, as funny as I expected it to be, as violent as I needed it to be. If this is going to, it has me excited for the Peacemaker series, and then of course I would like to see James Gunn make some more Suicide Squad movies. Let's have some other activities. Let's go on some other trips and give us new characters that you're going to introduce and then kill off and all that jazz. Like
they have no shortage of characters, bro. So
they don't. This is why they
really
have
don't.
so many that are similar to each other, because you can just throw them in there and then kill them, and then it's fine. It's fine.
Is this final thoughts with theories or thoughts of the next movie, or just final thoughts overall of the film?
Man, we don't even know if there's gonna be a next movie.
Yeah, I mean, if you have theories, you can talk about it for sure.
Well, with theories, no, but what I would like to see, if possible, I would like to see if Will Smith character Bloodshot, if he's still alive, if he's gonna come back to the franchise, because I would like to see Will Smith and plus Idris Elba type of chemistry, if they have any. And I can't wait to see if Idris Elba character Bloodsport gets into the show of the Peacemaker. So that'd be pretty interesting as well. So I'm really excited for the Peacemaker series as well, because it's for, I think, 8 or 9 episodes, and James Gunn did, I think, 7 or 6 that he directed it. So I really can't wait to see what this overall story for the Suicide Squad could bring. And if there is a third film, can't wait to see what other new cast members will be replaced or will get killed. So I'm really curious to see what Warner Brothers sees as their audience report, as their type of analytics, what people like and see, and what will they do next. Hopefully they could actually continue the story and continue improving the Suicide Squad and the DCEU if they're still doing something with that. Because overall, I hope James Gunn could write it, and maybe somebody else could probably direct it. Let's see where it goes.
Yo, Robert Patrick is playing Peacemaker's father in the Peacemaker series.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
that's
gonna be interesting. Yeah,
that is actually interesting as hell.
Yeah, Steve, final thoughts?
So I gave the movie like an 8.2 or something like that. I really enjoyed it. As far as another movie, I mean, if you do it, you do Viola Davis again. But are we gonna get? We're more than likely gonna get Harley Quinn again if that's the case. And then you wonder if you're gonna bring Bloodsport back, or because I mean they didn't bring Deadshot back. So, but
I mean he got out of prison after the first movie, so I mean I think he would have turned over a new leaf for his daughter's sake. So I don't think we'll see him back, honestly.
That's fair. That's fair.
Okay. Well, and then like it's just what other missions do they have or whatever? And I know they got plenty of villains that they can just throw away.
Oh yeah.
Because there's so many DC villains that they just can get rid of. And so I'm actually interested to see. And I think with this one being such a hit, I think they'll probably go ahead and just do it and try to do this one way faster than what they did with the last one. Because I think the last one was 2014 or something like that, 2015. So it's like a 6-year difference. So I think this one
2016, yeah.
2016, yep.
About 5 years. So I think this one will probably be a quicker turnaround. I think 2 or 3 years from now, you'll get another one. With,
Yeah, we'll
with the
see.
way that it was just so good, and so much. The critics love it. 90%, like you said, on Rotten Tomatoes. I don't see a reason for them not to do a quick turnaround for this next one.
Yeah,
Now, will it
audience
be?
rating was 83% too. It's pretty high.
Yeah. So, I mean, will it be just as good because of such a quick turnaround? That to be, you know what I'm saying, to be determined. But I don't see no reason not to do it. I mean, this is like one of the good bright spots in the DC EU. So
Facts.
might as well go ahead and milk it. Like,
And by the way, my score is an 8 out of 10. I forgot to add a 4 out of 5. That's my score.
Abe, final thoughts?
Oh, I gave my final thoughts.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
okay,
and
okay.
I gave it an 8.5.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. So yeah, man. Like I said, the more and more that I watch this movie, the more and more that I like it. Seeing it with an audience was the best experience possible for this movie.
So
Watching
jealous.
people laugh, and I saw it in theaters on my second watch, so I already knew what was happening. So during all of the King Shark scenes, like people were screaming, people were laughing, having an absolute fucking blast with this movie, and that's one of the reasons why I love going to the movies, man. The movie going experience, watching people be hyped. Like I'll never forget when I was watching Dragon Ball Super Broly and they break the dimensional barrier. Everyone in the theater lost their fucking mind. So it's like that theater experience means a lot to me. This was so much fun. Can't wait for the Peacemaker series. I would love for them to make another movie. I would love to see Sportsmaster. I would love to see a couple other villains. I don't know. You could throw in Black Manta if you wanted to, and keep him around. He doesn't have to die. You know what I mean? Like after Aquaman 2, he could show up in the Suicide Squad. That'll be fucking dope. As
He's
great
so
as Idris
slayed.
was, I want him to do something different. I don't want him to regress back into being a villain, a hired gun on the streets. You know, I don't need him to be the perfect dad again, because that's not how people evolve. They don't evolve that quickly.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want him to be in prison again. So I hope they move on to another like group of characters. Bring back Harley. Bring back King Shark as well. You know, but Bloodsport, I don't want to see him again for the character part, unless
We
he shows
could-
up in Peacemaker for revenge.
We could
That
also
would be
get some type of metahumans like sometimes Suicide Squad, Mr. Freeze Jr. or I think the Iceman Jr. something like that. He has been in Task Force S before, so he could also join it in the movie. So like that'd be a great addition. And like he's not a big important character in the comics or will be or is big in the film. So that'd be a great small addition and probably people care for this character.
Yeah, I would also give the film 4 out of 5. Like I said, I did give it a 3.5 out of 5 before, but if a movie is more entertaining the more I watch it, like I'll be honest, I'll give it the extra score. But again, like the issues that I have with it still stand. They stand out even more on subsequent rewatches. But I'm not gonna give the film a bad rating because it is a lot of fun and I highly recommend that people see it. But
Agreed.
thank you guys so much for watching our reviews of What If and the Suicide Squad. Abe, give away the let's give the winner of the Extreme Carnage comic.
So this Lasher edition, oh, you know what? I always have to turn on my light. I apologize, but this copy of Lasher
It's so sick, man.
is going to lucky winner Light Films. Light Films.
Hey,
Please just send me a DM on Twitter at Prince_A Lawal, and so I can get it shipped out to you next week. Congratulations, Light Films. This is our third item that we've. Yeah, it's our third item that we've given away on Careful for Spoilers, and it's so fun because you guys keep coming back to support. And like I said, we're going to do more. Next week is going to be Kang issue 1. Kang issue 1 drops first of all on our co-host's birthday, 18th, August 18th. Kang and apparently Kang and Steve share a birthday for this moment in time. They share a birthday. And so we'll have Kang issue 1. We'll have multiple winners on that following Friday's episode. So that is the 20th, I believe. All you have to do is just follow me on Twitch at Prince_A Lawal. Just follow the Ocean A podcast. By all means, subscribe to Careful for Spoilers and definitely go follow the Blerd Mind Pod on Twitter. We're excited because the Kang variant covers are sick, bro. Like, it is ridiculous. And I think there's 15. Just about, I've seen maybe 7 of them. Ridiculous. So we're going to have multiple winners. We're going to give away multiple copies of the issues. So just do those simple things and tune in, of course, that Friday. Have fun with us like you do in chat. I'm really excited. And that's basically everything you need to know for me.
Yeah, like Abe said, make sure you guys stay tuned for more giveaways. Like he said, we're going to be doing Kang. Pretty much, I would say rule of thumb, if you want an entry into the giveaways, be subscribed to the YouTube channel. Be subscribed to Osa and Abe, wherever you listen to podcasts. Make sure you subscribe to Anime Lately, Inside the Mind of the Blerd. We're going to be doing a lot more collaborations with all of the teams. So just make sure you're following all of us so that you're in the sphere whenever we're giving away these comic books. And of course, as long as you're in chat, you like the video, you interact with us, and that's your entry into getting that comic book. So yeah, like I said, we still have to do a Conjuring giveaway. I don't know when we're gonna do that. We might do that like around Malignant.
Yeah,
I think that'll be a perfect time to do that.
Are we just gonna do issue 1, or are we gonna do as many as because by that time it should be 5 issues out probably, right?
Maybe,
5
yeah. I mean,
6, yeah.
I think maybe just issue 1, but we can talk about that a little bit more behind the scenes. But yeah, man, a lots more stuff happening, lots more giveaways, lots more collaborations. Steve, where can the people find you online?
You can follow me at ScubaSteve1428 on Instagram and Twitter. Follow the Inside the Mind of a Blerd pod, and follow my Naka Mixer, follow Scholar Scuba Steve, and follow Careful for Spoilers. And yeah.
Abe?
Oh yeah, it's back to me again. So follow me at Prince_Alawal. That is Prince_ALAWAL. That is on Twitter and on Twitch. Go listen to the Ocean A podcast. New episode dropping Sunday. You feel me? We're going to be talking about just our brief summary on the Suicide Squad, my trip into Nollywood, and of course the Olympics and NBA free agency and some of the moves we liked and disliked. Tune in to Inside the Mind of a Blerd. Episodes drop every Wednesday, so just check out the most recent episode, which was about depth in anime and manga, and which ones were important, which ones were pointless, which ones were funny. And not only in anime, I apologize, in all of media, because King Joffrey in GOT was definitely a comedic death, apparently. Definitely check out My Naka Mixer. New episode drops with the MI6 agent himself, Bachata of of the It Mob. So that'll be dropping tomorrow. Of course, check out Anime Lately. Please check out Careful for Spoilers. Check out Spicy Lady Entertainment. Go follow her on Twitch at Spicy Lady Gaming. Yeah, just find us all over social media. When you find one, you find all. Link in the description with the Linktree that has everything. So go check that out.
Yes, sir. Vash?
All right, guys. You can follow me at 3 places. The 3 most important places in October is follow at twitch.tv/careful spoilers, because for some reason I am doing some horror gaming. So definitely do that, because you would be guys being seen some twitch.tv and a lot of screaming from me. Second, twitch.tv/anime lately for 2 things, where you catch myself, Abe, and Sam doing live reactions once the mangas come out. And then at 1 p.m. EST, you'll be catching the Bortakus doing the Shonen Ronin podcast, doing the breakdowns and /discussion /review of the My Hero, of the Black Clover, of the JJK, and whatever series that we also want to cover is up to us. And Kaiju number 8 got moved to the Anime Podcast main show. So that's that. Those 2 things. And the other reason to join the Anime Podcast on twitch.tv/anime lately is because I'll be gaming more and be watching Hunter x Hunter soon. Very soon. Maybe this Sunday, but very soon. That's all.
Yeah.
I don't know about this.
You guys know you can follow me all over social media at JB Exclusive, and of course see the number 4 spoilers. Check out our merch at shopforspoilers.com. You can also find links to our Patreon, where we have the producer tier, where all producers on that tier get producer credits on every single thing that we produce on C4S. You also get access to our Best One, Worst One backlog that has 32 episodes. And we also have the Vault tier that is $10. On that tier, you will get all of the Best One, Worst One episodes. And you'll have access to 20 plus episodes of the C4S podcast and a couple other podcasts that are only exclusively available on Patreon. So make sure you check us out there. You can also do the $1 tier. That is the appreciation tier. If you just want to show your support, that's perfectly fine. If you only want to do $1, or if you don't want to commit to monthly, get a shirt, get a hoodie on the merch store. Check us out over there. Make sure you get the merch from Inside the Mind of the Blerd. We're gonna have Anime Lately merch soon, so make sure you guys stay tuned for that. But yeah, this was an absolute blast. Can't wait to review What If Episode 2 and whatever comes next for the Council of Villains on this show. But go ahead, Vash.
By the way, guys, I just want to say I love Steve. But Steve, I love you. And fuck you too.
Fuck you.
They still. Oh,
No.
cut the tape. Cut the tape. Cut it.
Again, for myself and the council, we will see you guys on the next one.
Peace.